Now, hello and welcome, everyone. It is Friday night. It is Friday, the 13th, in October, no less. Yes, the spookiest day of the year, on the 13th, a number with much paranoia about it. And the world is extra scary. Israel is glassing northern Gaza because of the Hamas attacks last week. Russia and Ukraine are probably doing something. Not that anyone in the world is paying attention. And now Azerbaijan is saying, I want to get that Armeniusi. So Azerbaijan's looking to invade Armenia instead of just some valleys up there. It's sounding like they're going full hog. So the adults are back in charge and World War is back on the menu. Yellow Lantern, Geeky, how was your week and how are you doing? Well, look, listen. Obviously, there's human tragedy going on in the Gaza Strip right now. You know, people are dying. AI puppies are being generated for some reason. And, regardless of all that, the one thing good it's done is it's kept them all fighting each other and busy with that instead of, moving on to greener pastures. But regardless, yes, Israel has given them they gave them like 48 hours to evacuate northern Gaza, right? So before they decided they're just gonna glass that region, I assume, in response to the actions of terrorists that reside there. Yellow Lantern, what are your thoughts on the uncertainty going on? Really? You say Schindler's, like Schindler's List? Oh, Shimmers. Got it. And they did it on the anniversary of their last war, right? This is the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, so they did their which violations? Twitter, the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. You're talking about the settlements that the Palestinians claim are illegal settlements on their territory, right, and basically amount to a mass land grab, right? You're saying they violated whatever borders they agreed to at the end of the last Arab-Israel war? But you're saying, much like the accusations in Pearl Harbor on the, what's his name? FDR government, that either this was not necessarily planned, but allowed to happen, perhaps for domestic political reasons? Seems sensible. I mean, using a alternative, unexpected tech to break through what is generally considered one of the most fortified, you know, border in the world, right? The Al-Aqsa. So you're saying this is a response to them claiming the Al-Aqsa Mosque and not allowing Muslims into it? A meaningless trifle over holy relics, I guess, right? Basically. But you're saying that the followers of Allah say that they own this mosque, and you're saying it's being desecrated. Did they build like a temple on it or something? They say that Jewish people would make the Antichrist. That's what Christians think.
Yeah, easier.
Oh, I saw the South Park about this. You're talking about the red heifer, right? Hey, people can walk on water and change water into wine and die for 5 seconds. I mean, why couldn't they have a magic cow to make them decide? Doesn't seem that ridiculous. Did they sacrifice the red heifer? Well, what's wrong with that? It's not pig's blood. And I could understand that. They're not a Christian nation, and he's some foreign god. I mean, why would you respect their leader? I mean, Israel is a Jewish nation, not a Christian nation, or even a secular nation, right? Like, I mean, could you imagine building a statue of Jesus in Saudi Arabia? Like, I mean, you wouldn't do that. That'd be absurd. Like, imagine putting up a giant cross in Saudi Arabia. Like, who the... Like, what the fuck are you doing here with your weird foreign religion? Get the fuck out of here. Like, it makes sense they would desecrate statues of Jesus. I mean... Wait, do you think Poland should put up statues of Muhammad? Well, it'd be kind of based, honestly, just because of the rules about depictions of Muhammad, but... but, like, I mean, come on. The Polish government's not going to put up, like, a giant mosque with taxpayer funds, right? They're clearly a Christian nation. Now, what is a Talmudic ritual? Is it one of the books of the Torah, right? So it's like Christianity. It's a different offshoot of Judaism, basically. Legalism. Would it be a like a what do they call that? A synchron? No, a synth. It's like a There's a term for it. It's like syncretism or something. Legalistic. What do you mean by legalistic versus like? No, I get that, but when you're saying legalistic versus. So would it be like the hadiths versus the Quran, basically? Do different sects of Islam disagree over the truth of different hadiths? Sunni Shia or Salafist or, you know, like, is there... I think that's an offshoot of Sunniism, right? Because Dom was a Salafist, right? If I'm not mistaken. That's the Sunni Shia split, right? Is that it's the son, it's the nephew, right? The uncle, right? Basically, they were arguing over what's canon and not canon. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it's like, no, it's canon, then it should be the genetic line. No, it's canon, then it should be the uncle. Wait, was it really 1632? I thought they split after... Oh, 632. That makes much more... Because they split after Muhammad died, right? They split literally over the succession crisis. Well, they believe the grass is always sunnier on the other side. I believe. And then they throw that person off the building, I know. That's why the leader of ISIS chose the name Abu al-Bakr, right? Wasn't Abu Bakr an Al-Qaeda leader? I can't fucking remember.
Чики-брики, пальчики-брики. What's going on here?
Now, Hezbollah, for those who aren't aware, is the Lebanese, I guess, like, Lebanese Islamic organization, I guess, or... yeah, paramilitary political party out of Lebanon, quite involved in the troubles in Gaza and Israel. Caused it? How did they cause a civil war in
Ну и
Jordan?
чё, тут есть что, нет? Ну чё, неплохой день, господа.
We're chilling, we're chilling.
That whole region has changed hands quite a bit, Yiki.
I think there's a PMC on top of the bunkers, bro.
Okay.
Where a scab has been shooting the boss.
No, 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 no. No one's nuking anyone. None of this is worth nuking, okay? It is not worth nuking any of these nations. But, look, I don't know. I tend to think it's not as hopeless as it seems, but it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Are you trying to say this is serious business? So Hezbollah are Shia militia, right? The ISIS is a Sunni militia, right? So Hezbollah is a Shia-aligned militia, which is why everyone says there's the Iran connection, right? Okay. I mean, sounds like normal great gamesmanship, right? The defense industry aligned, various war profiteers out there that have never seen a conflict that they didn't like. Well, I mean, I guess. Well, you know how to get people deported, so just make them, take a position on a hot button issue, I guess. To make our government actually operate, I mean, I would keep that in your back pocket. I mean, to be fair to Harvard, Harvard is a private institution that's allowed to discriminate in manners it chooses. You may not like them discriminating on the basis of political viewpoints, but, it's like, they're not exclusively a public institution. Well, look, they're just decolonizing, Geeky, that's all.
We killed a player that was over there.
Well, I mean, like, I don't see any objection to them supporting Israel, because, like, I mean, think about Dave Rubin, for example, right? You can say he's a grifter or not, regardless, but one side wants to throw him off a building, and another side says, this is your ancestral home, like, I don't know, color me shocked if he wants to support the side that doesn't throw him off a building, right? I mean... He's literally Israeli! Like, of course he wants to support his homeland! What the fuck? Like, why is this a shock? I'm listening. I mean, my investment in the conflict is that I will offer you not 1 ounce of treasure and not 1 ounce of American blood. Deal with your own shit. That's my opinion. That's my opinion on the topic, alright? America has an open border. America is broke. Sorry. Your cause may be just in defending yourself, but that's not an issue. I don't get it. What's to explain? But everyone does that. I mean, everyone does that. What do you mean by that? Wait, I'm sorry. Slow down. Back up for a second. But what about lefty activism? Which groups? What do you mean the ADL stuff? Could you explain? Dissidents such as... You're saying the ADL, you're claiming they're an attack dog of the State of Israel. Then what are you saying they are? The regime's clientele. Explain. Go on. Do you explain biological Leninism first? Spandro. Neo-reactionary. What does that mean? What do you mean by neo-reactionary? Programmer's perspective. The media-run state. Explain. But how is it a media-run state? So it's a grand conspiracy, is what you're saying. So they are collaborating and conspiring, but they won't say it because then that would make them... Basically, we're all doing bad things, but none of us are saying we're doing bad things. Oh yeah, and what was it? The operation, what was it called? You know, the operation where the federal government was explicitly giving orders to social media and news companies to specifically, you know, edit and adjust news stories in real time. Operation C. What do you mean by the outer party? Either in the party or not in the party. The non-elected positions? Explain. Basically, like the appointed, anointed bureaucrats, kind of like think basically all the executive positions that are appointed and then never removed, right? Okay, yeah, can we explain what bio-Leninism is? You're talking about the kulaks, basically, right? Well, sorry, those were the farmers and landowners. Now, when you say inversion of values, what do you mean by the hierarchy has been flipped? Why? Because the people that don't own anything hold power now? Racial, ethnic, religious, cultural. Why do they feel resentment towards the majority? In Israel, it's not a very multicultural state, causing a lot of problems out there. You know, they seem to have a monolithic hierarchy there that specifically supports their own people, and they don't seem to be doing very well. They've got neighbors on all sides that either want to exterminate them or remove them. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's working out for them very well. There's not much diversity in Israel. No, but it doesn't seem to be even working for them either. You say promote incompetence. You mean, would you say like tribal promotion rather than performance promotion? Basically, you know, you get your job on the not on the basis of your performance, but on the basis of how you look, where you're from, you know, kind of the traditional way most, you know, promotion and, you know, culturally how most Arab nations operate. Is it really ruled by the best with an aristocracy? No, I know what it means, but is that how it actually operates? When does it operate that way? Like, when in history did it operate that way? No, I get. You could say that rule of the worst doesn't work, but I'm just curious. When has aristocracy been ruled by the best? I'm just asking for some examples. Invading and killing their neighbors. But I mean, when you say an empire is projecting its power and strength, usually that means they're taking territory from their neighbors and killing people that don't want to get involved, right? I get that, but what I'm saying is that's yeah, it's great. Maybe it's great for them, but it's usually not good for their neighbors, right? Sure, you could wave it away by saying it's human nature, but like, is that greatness? It's a simple question. I mean, it's not a complicated question. So the desire to expand and, you know, project your power. So exactly the same thing the aristocracy does, right? Really? Did William the Conqueror not invade? Like, you know, did the Roman Empire not expand across half the entire fucking world? Did the Catholic Church not conquer other religions all around the world and infect people with their ideology? Like, I mean, come on, this is not like this is human nature, but like to just say, oh well, no, the aristocracy, they're the good people, I feel is like blatantly misinformed. But I'm just saying, like, it sounds like intentionally misinformed, you know. No, I do. I absolutely grasp the conceptuality, but you're not as smart as you think you are, I think is what's happening. You know, I think that's pretty much it. But okay, so we'll concede your point. We'll say, okay, fine, whatever. The kings were much better than these evil communists, because I tend to agree with that. They probably were better than the communists because they did mass murder, mass starvation, and other horrible things in general. But okay, basically you're saying you're inverting the hierarchy of society to take power, right? Okay, so you're saying making all the people who shouldn't, who are the undesirables, and trying to make them useful for political purposes, right? Oh my gosh, are you serious, Chubbly? Fuck.
Huh? What's going on?
An audio glitch.
Oh.
There's just an audio error. Okay, so bio-Leninism, to recap, is you're saying an inversion of traditional hierarchy structure, an inversion of, say, rather than aristocracy, more so an inversion of, what's the word?
Yeah, it's for the
Meritocracy.
purpose
It's more
of
an inversion of meritocracy, right? Would that be a more accurate way to put it?
and it would no, because it's more of it's a kakostocracy where
What does that
you
what does that mean?
intentionally kakostocracy is Greek for rule by the worst. So it's literally like instead of the upper classes ruling, it's the lower classes. It's the bottoms. It's the people who
Why are they at the
naturally
bottom?
wouldn't. You know, some of it's ideological, some of it's biological, some of it's
Logical.
just
What do you mean
they
ideological?
just couldn't keep up. You know, sometimes people with, you know, if they have the wrong ideology, they're
So if
excluded
they're the
from
wrong
decision-making
religion,
processes.
basically, or they're the wrong culture, right? Basically.
Yes,
So basically, the
you know,
people who are undesirable in society that society tries to get rid of is what you're.
yes, and they team up with either defective elites
I can
or
imagine
ones
why
looking
they
to.
would team up with these people.
It's the juvenile power theory of
I
the
can't
modern one of
imagine why
high.
you'd want to team up with them when society's trying to get rid of them anyway.
It's the high-low versus middle dynamic. The middle being
I'm just baffled
the
why they would team up with people that say they don't want them to be bottom feeders. I'm baffled by this, man.
so the reason violinism, you know, was successful in America is that you have
Is it?
a system of laws. Yeah, the Civil Rights Act and the laws following, based on the precedent, effectively encourage minority identifications
I
for the
would say the
purposes
civil
of
rights
gaining.
laws were more just, you know, a way to eliminate the influence of the Constitution more than anything. They're
But
just
it
a way
also
to chip away at the protections in there. At
but
least that's how I
it
see
didn't
it.
just do that.
Well,
It
it
was a top.
absolutely
It was
did that. I'd say that's the most
I
important thing
said
it
it.
did.
Well, and like I was saying, it didn't just do that. As I've been reading Age of Entitlement, it was a total
Was this the
top-down
Thomas Sowell
social
book, or
revolution.
is that
No, it's by Christopher Caldwell, and
Caldwell
he
Pope?
points out that no, well, his main thing focus was that the Civil Rights Act set out basically to do the opposite of what it actually said, and he's basically saying that it created two system of
I
laws.
disagree with that completely. I think the entire purpose of the Civil Rights Act was to create a two-tiered set of laws. Like what? What?
Well, like
I
said,
would
it's
say the
stated
explicitly stated extent, it's definitely the opposite of what they said it was for, but it was definitely intended to do what it did. Like, I mean, come on.
well, that's Ghost. As I was saying, the people who advocated for these laws said something different than what actually got implemented.
You
because,
telling me politicians lied? This is breaking news, everyone.
yeah,
No
what the
one's
civil
ever
rights,
seen this behavior before, that politicians lied? I'm shocked by this. Geeky, have you ever heard of this? This is unheard of. yes, y'all.
basically,
Politicians
it's
lied.
the reason that, and
the sky is still blue, okay?
And on top, so speaking of blue, that's the reason. So on top of the process, with a combination of
about
civil
Ben
rights
Simmons?
law, mass immigration, and others, the bioidentist coalition was able to make states that were formerly red blue, one-party states, effectively, like California,
Texas, right?
or
Which
New York.
was a blue state and is now a red state.
Well, yes, even though, like I said, the deliberate party switch.
But how did that happen?
Happened. Well, it didn't happen at the local levels until the 1990s and 2000s, but the presidential, it was more of a down ballot thing because
I would say it was
essentially
more probably the influence of the Bush political family. They did. Look,
well,
I don't like the Bushes at all, but I can recognize the work that they did in Florida and Texas. I understand it. I don't like them by any stretch.
But
I'm not just gonna sit here and say they didn't do anything. It's like, no, they did.
It was just a case of
although Florida was
more
more of the Tea Party, instituting pro freedom laws and anti election fraud laws against the will of their party. Basically, they fought back and basically they dragged their party kicking and screaming to winning, and now Ron DeSantis and his goons are trying to undo all those. But that's an issue for us to deal with today. But how did Texas turn blue? Because I thought the what is it called? The Overton window only shifts in one direction. So what happened there?
Because the Democrats largely abandoned their southern constituents. They kicked them out of the coalition.
Really?
Yeah, they just. I mean, of course.
What do you mean they
abandoned? Not to say that the GOP's been any better, because
both
what do you
parties mean they abandoned them?
Well, I mean that's kind of like what the whole riots in the 1960s were, in the the Democratic National Convention essentially jettisoned the Dixiecrats. The Southern Democrats eventually lost their party, and the New Lefts took over. And this continued down.
Could you explain that?
I don't want to have to reference that 4-hour-long stream on the party switch, but
I mean,
basically,
summarize it. You're a smart guy.
Process.
Summarize it.
It was a slow process of Republicans making inroads based off their connections in the defense industry, the Southern Democrats still being powerful at the local levels. I mean, many Southern states were actually swing states. Effectively,
wait, could you explain what you mean by the connections in the defense industry? Are you saying that there were so many local factories that support for the defense industry was able to drum up?
Yes, that's why.
For them, and that's why
until recently, Republicans dominated Northern Virginia because of their connections to the defense contractors.
Right, but Northern Virginia is just a sub-state of DC right now.
Unfortunately, because of the financialization, and it's kind of funny. Is once the Cold War ended, many of these contractors lost many of their contracts. They felt stuff, and so the Republicans lost. That's why they started voting blue, and you can see the effects of like Maryland and Virginia being essentially forced to be the extended suburb of DC,
Which it is.
which is a
right
shame.
now. It's
Unfortunately,
absolutely that.
Yeah, although it's a weird situation in Virginia that it's not like completely hopeless for Republicans, unlike in say Maryland, where they're demographically never going to win the
Maryland.
state again.
Why is it demographically impossible in Maryland?
Well, it's just Republican. The demographic most likely to vote for the Republicans is outnumbered.
So you're saying there are no white people left, is what you're trying.
Not enough. Like Maryland is a state due to
You're saying
Baltimore,
Republicans can
DC.
only win by pandering to white people, is what you're trying to say.
Well, that's the Steve Saylor strategy, and it works.
I don't know who Steve Saylor is.
Oh, probably the most eloquently guy on Twitter. You know, way to express race realism. The eloquent boomer guy on Twitter who, you know, famous for being a race realist.
That's his
or at least making light of America's demographics, their racial politics, and using
so he's a professional
funny euphemisms.
racist. I get you.
Race realist.
Like I said, a professional racist.
I mean, everybody is at some point in their lives.
Sure. Okay, so a professional racist is saying that only by pandering to white people can white people win in politics.
That's a Saylor strategy, and of course,
Okay.
point.
Here's how I put it like this.
Basically, what you have to do is you have to atomize and isolate these people on the basis of just skin color and appease them in order to win their vote. Is that the claim?
Sane person should be.
Here's how I put it like this.
Wait. Can you answer the question?
Well, you're asking for why.
I'm just asking a yes or no question.
Yes, that's basically how the game needs to be played.
Gotcha. All right, so you're saying you have to be racist to win. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, it works for the Democrats because anti-white racism is ascendant, and that's
okay.
why
So
they
the
get.
only way to win politically is to copy the despicable tactics of the other.
Well, you can't win unless you decide to dismantle.
I just wanted you to say it. That's all. So you have to be despicable and evil to win in politics. You have to abandon your values in order to win in politics.
Really good minority vote turnout. Mm-hmm.
That's the claim.
Like,
I'm just asking.
That's
what you have to do, right? You have to abandon your values and treat people as nothing more than their skin color to win in politics, right?
Yeah, because at this point,
that's healthy for the
post-American identity,
nation, right?
It's what's next.
No. Is it healthy or is it not healthy?
Well, what does mass democracy entail?
It doesn't matter. Is it healthy or not? Yes or no? It's not healthy.
I mean,
it's not healthy to be tribalistic in a multicultural society like that, right?
Well, that's why multicultural societies don't really work very well.
Regardless, we're in one, right? It doesn't matter what you think, what you'd rather have. It's the reality of where we are, correct?
Yeah, because here's the first part. Basically, new base is desirable. America, as this quote said, America.
So we live in a multicultural society, but you say that people have to descend back into tribalism because otherwise, what will happen?
Yeah.
What will happen?
Because here's what happens. So you have to be around. Americans largely vote based on demographic lines. The politically divided majority white population. You have one that leans Republican paired with a smaller non-white population that leans Democrat to a much greater degree.
What percentage do you think leans Republican of the white population?
About 60 to 70%.
Really? I think it's that high.
The other 30 to 40%. Well, the 30 to 40%.
I think you're oversimplifying it. I think there's a lot more that would not specifically align.
basically the sailor strategy is this: when whites turn
I know
out
what
to
the sailor
vote
strategy
in
is.
national
You can explain that.
elections
My point is, I
at
think you're
higher than expected
overestimating. I think
rates.
you're overestimating demographics, unfortunately.
Well, I think you're not necessarily seeing. I mean, you
I'm
know,
not seeing. I'm listening.
Reagan won
Yes.
1984 with only 58% of the white vote. Trump got nearly the same share in 2020, and he wasn't able to be reelected.
Well,
And of course,
that's not a fair election to consider in this. Let's be completely honest with
yeah,
ourselves. Like I don't. That's like saying, hey, the Black Sox scandal World Series is a great example of World Series to consider when talking about issues in the postseason. Like that's basically what you're saying. It's like, hey, this hotly contested, obviously fraudulent event, we're going to use this as our basis for what the actual demographics and voting patterns of the country are, right? Like that would be insane. It'd be like asking, hey,
Yeah.
Hamas, tell us the Israeli death
Like-
toll. Hey, Israel, tell us the Palestinian death toll, right? Like it's not.
yeah.
It's
Basically,
not a good source, I would say.
Republicans would likely do better with their with if rather than moderating their message, they actually embrace the policies that their current, their base that they hate so much actually demands.
I think you're
Small base
I
that
think
nobody
you're
gives a shit
misguided
about.
on that. I think you're
Yeah.
absolutely wrong because what they need to do is adopt the more nativist sentiments, the more anti-foreign war, anti-big business interests, anti-China support. There's a lot of things I would go to way before I care about some demographic nonsense. Like yes, you are correct. The Republican Party does hate their voters. Absolutely. They despise them. They've done that, since probably the Tea Party.
Yeah.
It's when it really coalesced, when it really reached critical mass. And then they, work to destroy all elements of that rebellion. But no, I mean, I think there's a lot smaller, smarter, more strategic things they can do before just, screaming nonsense at people and turning off any potential future voters. Like,
Yeah.
first you'd have to dismantle the institutions, you'd have to dismantle public schooling. There's a lot of things you would have to dismantle first, long before you go to your insane racist tirades like that. You're trying to skip steps in defusing a bomb, more or less. It's like, okay, now we cut this green wire, but there's like 8 other wires we gotta cut. No, just cut this green wire so we can just explode the whole thing, right? Like, I feel like you're missing the forest for the trees and just skipping a lot of steps. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm trying to finish explaining what
No,
I'm
I
going
know,
at.
but like it sounds like a bunch of nonsense because it's like, wait, what, bro? Like there are so many things you have to get to long before you get to, screaming and being racist idiots. Like, it's like, what? Like, calm down, calm down for 5 seconds, you moron. Like, there's way bigger things to get to before you get to that. Like, there's so much institutional like opposition and decay you have to fight first and dismantle long before you get to this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I crazy or
Well,
like?
Here's the truth: is that there's no, for conservatives, they have to rally around a real American identity, not one based on simulacrums of consumer
What do you mean by a
products.
simulacrum? Explain.
Basically, you can't, this is, like, for example, this is the trouble with like online communities or like people who obsess over stories or role playing as certain things. I mean, it's not the real thing, it's
Or
a
religion, right?
simulacrum
Role
feeling.
playing some fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got this delusional fantasy about a magic man that will cure everything. And then you assume that's how
Yeah.
society applies, basically. But, yes, role playing. Explain to me how role playing's bad.
It's not really I mean, people can LARP until they actually do make stuff. Like people who LARP as swordsmen eventually
Well, I
might
don't
be
think
able
that's.
to
I
actually.
don't really think that's really LARPing because a lot of them are actually learning traditional like sword technique. It's like, which is honestly probably a pretty good just cultural and cultural outlet for one, right? Learning about your past and your history, while at the same time, practicing an art form.
It's
Martial
like
art.
people who try to do like they're like in love on Twitter, but not in real life. That's
I mean,
not really. It's like
that's parasocial relationships. That's a whole nother mess. that's a
yeah.
that's a lot of worms to unfold. I'll say I'll say that, man. the concept of parasocial relationships and all that. And I mean, a lot of that, put it kindly, is just a byproduct of, you know, our general disconnectedness with each other and kind of empty hollowness we all feel, right? Because, you know, people put a big hole in their heart where they put their gods and their religions, and now it's like, oh, they took it away. And it's like, well, you can't just take it away all at once, right? Because you still have that defect in you. You just have to find something to fill it with, you know, which can be cultural endeavors, you know, friendship and community that you build. You know, there's all kinds of things you can fill that hole with, but a lot of people don't want to put that effort, so they become listless and meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. But, you know, you have a lot of people that don't really, you know, don't really fit in, and they find people online who don't judge them because they, you know, a lot of these communities thrive on anonymity as well, right? Because it's like, well, I mean, think about it this way, right? Like, hey, you know, it doesn't matter what you look like, what, you know, who you are, or any of that, because it's like you're just a blank face, you know? You're nothing. And you can kind of, you know, you can build that friendship, you know, without, you know, people have like the online, you know, like the blind dating and shit, where you just meet someone for the first time. You know, you're kind of doing blind friendship, right? Because it's not like, oh, I care what you look about, I care where you come from, you know, are you from this village, are you from the, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, you're just, hey, Anon, what's up, Anon? You know, one of those green posts, basically. Which can be used for good, but is quite often not, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to get is that, I mean, it's funny is that when you even have people like Henry Kissinger admitting that demographics is destiny and that the reason many
Henry
countries are
Kissinger,
not in good shape.
one of the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous men in history, right?
I would say there has been much more dangerous people
Sure,
who
but I
thankfully
mean, just think
who
about how
never got
close.
anywhere close.
I don't know. Henry Kissinger is involved in a lot of shit. Let's say, to be kind.
Depends. Though I would say that the current, you know, we see this would happen, you know, all these pro-Palestinian protests would not have been a thing if there wasn't mass immigration of like people from the Middle East and others into these countries. And, you
I
know,
don't
I think
actually know
it's
about
just,
that. I'm gonna be
Agree with
honest.
you on that one.
but I think it's just a case of, you know, the old parable about, you know, there's a Jewish parable about like we sometimes we create a golem that does our work, but sometimes the golem destroys us.
You know,
This is what I
I
was
don't
getting
actually
at in
agree
that
with
thread.
that. I'm gonna say you're wrong about that. I think there might be plenty of people that would be sympathetic to the cause of the Palestinians based on just what's going on there, regardless as if they're people of Islamic faith or not.
Mhm.
You know? I think
Well,
it's very
that's
possible.
kind of like the whole point is that the
What's the
reason
point?
it's kind of a is that, you know, the whole thing about like trying to take either side right now is that it's a stalemate in a conflict between people claiming victimization, and the people are just depends, you know, if they're making unprincipled exceptions and who they're making them for. Like, you know, for example, many of the Jews who come here who advocate for like open borders became fierce nationalists for their country, and the Palestinians and all the pro-Palestinian side, the people who don't, who also absorb that decolonization rhetoric, they get mad at for suddenly, you know, seeing how come our activism doesn't work, how come we're getting canceled now, you know, we sign a letter to protest this, and all of a sudden, you know, there's trucks with our doxes on them that are driving around trying to shame us. You saw that story, like
Group that you rallied around decided to murder citizens at a music festival and
yeah,
said,
that's the
"Oh,
point.
and called for a general day of jihad."
Well, yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's I don't exactly have
Why?
sympathy
Why
with
are you
either side.
surprised?
Yeah, I don't have sympathy with either side that much. I mean, both of them are in a feedback loop to create the rhetoric, which leads to the conflict. You know, This is why you can't, don't side with the leftists who argue for decolonizing stuff, because they don't see the nuances the right does. Because there's right wing critiques of Israel and Jews who they don't see Jews as like true Europeans, but the Palestinians, the
Wait.
the leftists,
What
they
does
don't
Europe
care.
have to do with Israel?
No, I mean, you didn't like right wing critiques.
You
You know,
said
they
they
s-
did
they
it. They
see
didn't. That's critique because they didn't see them as true Europeans. What does that have to do with Israel? Israel's not a European country.
I know, but it's perceived as a
But
white
wait. But
country in the
I'm trying to
eyes of the
understand
left.
though what you're saying.
Basically, the rhetorical unprincipled exception doesn't fly for the doesn't fly over the heads
But
of
why does
the
it matter if they're
Palestinians.
European or not? This is about a country in the Middle East.
Yes, but that's Israel is seen as a white country, even if from the right
What? But
people do not consider
that
Israelis to
even come
be
into effect?
of this.
Doesn't even make sense.
It's who basically who
Doesn't
will
make any
overtake
sense
who.
though. Like what? White country or not? Who cares? It's a country in the Middle East. Like what?
Basically, the same anti-white rhetoric that is being deployed against Israel can be applied to every country in Europe. And that decolonization means it's a cover for, I want to commit a mass slaughter of people who lived here because I should be the one in charge. Like, oh, you colonized
You're
my country
saying
even
that
though we left?
minorities want to kill people.
Not really
Not all
minority,
of them.
not all of them, but their activist class and the people in charge of them
Activist class.
do
Ooh,
bring.
explain to me an activist class.
Well, yeah, the NGOs,
NGO, of
the
course, being
lobbies.
non-governmental organization, non-profits that are funded by
University
various.
university types, right?
Yeah,
Hey guys,
like
I sorry guys, I completely forgot about this. So
no, it's
yeah,
fine,
sorry
Kaz.
for being late.
I've only got about 30 minutes because I want to go to bed early. But the point is that we see these. It's just ironic that for many of the people who profess the the rhetoric, many Jew,
rhetoric.
the like some of the anti-Zionist accounts will say, huh, all the liberal Jews are surprised that when they foment the anti-white rhetoric about colonization and history, suddenly they're the ones now getting the heat from their minority allies, because when it comes to the Israel versus Palestine conflict, they're going to equate the Palestinians with as being the oppressed in all situations, even if they commit acts of violence.
Well, that's true. Yeah, well, that's true. We can see what the leftists have been saying online.
I mean, and
Now,
it's kind of funny,
I
in
saw an
Dearborn,
interesting thing though about the alleged Ben Shapiro AI generated image. Apparently, the puppy was the AI generated image.
Oh, the puppy was the AI generated image.
No,
The
apparently they found errors in the data that says the puppy is the AI generated image, and someone posted,
Yeah,
made it this quickly.
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, the puppy was the AI generated image. The one that Ben posted was the one that the official at Israel or at something official posted.
Now,
As for whether
looking at the image, like whether that's a human body or not, I can't tell.
yeah, I can't tell whether that is a real body. But I do believe that that is a real image in quotes. So I do believe it's not fake, but I don't know what it is. I don't know whether that picture was taken years ago. I don't know whether that was taken just
I
now.
don't have the image data on it or anything. I can't verify.
there's a lot of
but
I can't
there's a
verify
lot
of
what it is,
atrocity.
but
what I have seen, and this just comes from stuff I've seen in the past, is I do think it is a picture of a burnt biomass. So I do think it's a picture of a burnt body. Whether it's a burnt baby or a burnt something else, I don't know. But I do
I mean,
believe
for
it
me,
is a
it's
burnt
irrelevant what it's a
body.
bird image of.
I don't
right?
think it matters too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like to me, it doesn't matter, right? Like
I
if,
don't.
if it's a human being,
Yeah.
whatever, it's a tragedy. But like, come on, people are killed
Yeah.
every day. I mean, in America, no less, for grooming children.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it happens all the time. Like it's not. I can't. What, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Invade a
I'm
country
not.
every time something horrible happens? That's not the way that
Well,
adults
that's
operate.
that's the other thing. I mean, I'm sure you've probably already. Sorry, I mean, I joined like hours after you started, so I don't know what you've already talked about. But yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not something I would invade a country about. It's not something I'd
It
say.
can still be
I was saying this.
horrible, right? Which it is.
Yes,
It's
well, it
true.
is
It's
horrible.
absolutely
Yeah,
horrible.
it is horrible. Of course it is. Yeah.
But at the end
I
of the day, I'm not going to invade some country over it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was saying to my wife earlier on that like, just imagine if a load of Scots just ran into England and just started like, slaughtering a load of people, right? And then England then launched a load of fucking missiles at Scotland. Like that would never happen.
Yeah, that's no
It's
way
just,
you would do that. Like that's insane.
but well, I say we. I don't mean we as in we in this chat. I mean we as in the West in general are accepting that it's fine for Israel to just, drop big shit all over Gaza, West Bank, whatever, and other country, Lebanon. All I ever see from my officials and your officials is Israel has a right to defend itself, and
I mean,
however
personally,
it
I
sees
agree
fit.
with that. They
I
have right
do
to
agree
defend
with that.
themselves.
I
right?
do
like,
agree.
like they
Yeah,
do, but that doesn't mean that like you
doesn't mean to
drop
bomb
barrel
fucking
bombs
hospitals
on
and
people that are
civilians.
uninvolved. And you could argue, well, they are
Yeah,
involved, but like no, not that's
we
like
don't
we
know.
have rules about
There's not been a
civilians for
court of
years,
law.
and that's not how they work. You know.
Well, all you need to do is just look at the last year and a bit with the Russia-Ukraine thing, and you've seen loads of people saying, Russia is doing war crimes by dropping bombs on civilians. You saw probably yourself earlier on where Israel has officially warned some hospitals saying you need to evacuate within a few hours or whatever because we're
Now,
going to bomb the fuck out of it.
to play devil's advocate for a moment, right?
Sure.
To play devil's advocate, right? These are insurgents, right? These are not,
Yeah.
these are not like formal military. There's no formal big red. Hey, here's our military base, and
Yeah.
if I were to hide my troops after I committed a massacre on my neighbor, I would probably
Yeah.
hide in critical infrastructure and things that would make
I
someone
would as
look
well.
bad. Right? Like, I get that,
Yeah.
right? But there are
I
there are
agree.
children, elderly, people on ventilator. Like, there's the reality of what you're going to do. But just to play devil's
Yeah.
advocate, like, if I was running a
No,
terror
I
cell,
agree.
I would absolutely hide there because
I
one,
would do
it's
the
a
exact same thing,
it's
dude.
a propaganda war as well as an
Sure.
actual war, right? You're trying to win the
Of
support
course it is.
of the world, and the best way to do that is
Yeah.
to make your enemy look bad. Now, I'll
Yeah.
say the other side is not doing anything to engender, that they are a calm, steady hand in this conflict, right? That's not
Of course they're not. Of course they're not.
like.
But
On the bright
the
side,
point
it's
is
like, hey,
that-
at least they're not invading like Iran yet. But if they do, I immediately
yet.
retract this. Immediately retract
I-
this
I
praise for
think-
them not invading Iran right now because, like, but
I think I think they will have to get more support to do that, and that is why they're pushing out all this propaganda, right?
well, I
There's
mean,
so much.
what do they say about
pushed
war? What's
out.
the first casualty in war?
The truth.
Yeah.
We have always
And
been
I
at
mean,
war
that's-
with Gaza.
that's always
We have
been the
always have always been the enemy. We've always been at war with Russia. They've always been the enemy. It's
Yeah. And what is crazy is just the amount of support the amount of support I'm seeing of like Israel to be able to just do anything they want is insane because you saw how Ukraine was told, well, in no uncertain terms, that they're not allowed to launch missiles into Russia proper, right? They're
Yeah.
not allowed to do anything like that, right? Officially, they're not allowed
Well,
to do
to
that.
play devil's advocate to this point for a sec, Gaza does not have nuclear weapons. But yes, I understand.
True. True,
yeah,
they
you're right.
don't.
You know, that does seem like they're applying an unequal standard, but the conditions are not the same. You know,
I agree they're not the same, but I'm just saying, like, as a simple, tit for tat thing, Ukraine isn't launching missiles into Russia, but
I mean, they
it's
have
okay
before.
for Israel to launch. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, we're
I
not
mean, they
talking
have.
like
They have
thousands
attacked
or
like
thousands.
they've attacked Poland for crying out loud. They've launched missiles into other nations.
I mean, like
Yeah.
right now. We're
Sure,
not
Well,
talking
At the
so,
moment,
yeah,
not.
Israel is given like a blank check that
Yeah.
all the stuff you accuse Russia of doing, Israel is allowed to do without any sort of
Yeah.
scrutiny or thing. And yeah, that's a lot of people have noticed that they're able
course they have.
they
they have.
basically have an unprincipled exception to this type of post Nuremberg consensus around war and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like,
course.
I don't like I've like, if you're against like a state actor like Russia, I don't think there's any holds you can put barred on your retaliation action, because it's like, no, that's your
Well,
country.
can I
You're
just-
attacking and invading us. You have free reign
Yeah.
to attack and be completely irrational and belligerent as you want because they attacked you and they're invading your land and stealing your territory. Like, yeah, you have a right to defend yourself. With Hamas,
let
it's a
me,
lot more
add this
complicated.
one,
It's a
right?
lot more complicated because
It
Hamas
is
is
more
technically
complicated.
not a state actor, though they are a political actor in that region. They're not, they're not operating as like the governing body, right? That's the PLO, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember the
I
abbreviation.
can't keep
But
track of it all,
but also, dude, it's the fact that I thought about this earlier on, was if you remember 9/11,
Oh,
right? Where we, as in the West,
West collectively,
were the collective West, we were extremely bloodthirsty about glassing the absolute hell out
I mean, they
of
leveled
out of, like,
Baghdad
the
several
Arab world.
times.
Yes,
Where was the
several times.
outrage? Like, they leveled the capital city of this country with thousands of hundreds of thousands of civilians there.
Yeah.
Who
Now
answered for that? Who was
do a
punished for
similar-
that?
To do a similar devil's advocate thing, there were protests at the time, but not
Come
something
on,
that took
there
hold.
were protests at the time, but
Not something that
like
took
you
hold.
you
though.
don't like you those protests in New York. You know how people responded
Yeah.
to those. How pissed people. They didn't care.
Yeah, I do.
Because
Of
it's like,
course I
fuck
do.
that, man.
Of course I do.
I know people who lost
Yeah, no one cared.
family, right? Like, that was
Yeah.
people's emotional response. Like, they killed family members, loved ones. Like, it's like,
Yes,
fuck
they
you,
did.
you fucking hippie. That was the response.
Yeah.
It
That
was like
was
a
the
dream
response.
come true for the neocons,
we-
defense industry,
we
the defense
were
contractors.
We were extremely happy to glass the hell out of the Arab world, right?
Yep.
So-
And no one
and
was punished.
Anyone who
And
said
these people all had
otherwise,
children, and they've all grown up. And what did they
course,
remember? They
anyone who
remember
says
an
otherwise,
irrational
dude.
actor murdering their family and friends in
Yeah.
cold blood
anyone
over
who
things
says
that a
that
small
we-
group of assholes did.
anyone who says that we shouldn't be doing this, they were ostracized. They
Yep.
were shit on. They were saying, "Yeah,
They were
you
kicked
dumb
out of
hippie,
polite
you dumb
society.
lefty."
They were told they were pinkos.
Of course they were.
They were treated like people imagined the actual Red Scare was.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not.
and
You don't love America. You're not patriotic. You hate the military.
You're not
No, we just think it's a
patriotic,
bad idea
yeah.
to kill people indiscriminately.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing indiscriminate bombings of this city that's a big city.
People forget this
a very
continued under the
populated
Obama
city.
regime. Like, oh, you bombed a wedding.
Yeah, of course it did.
You bombed a fucking
All right.
wedding. Like, what the
Bombed
fuck
a
is
lot
wrong
worse
with you
than
I
people?
gotta go, guys. I'll
You have a
see.
good night, yo.
I will have my final thought. I'm writing a new article
When is the
about
next
the
article
Russian
coming out?
Revolution. This weekend, I had to read a lot of books to get it because I'm doing a book list as well as giving a short summary of what each book covered.
So you can do
Well,
like
make
little
sure you,
summaries
drop-
of the books.
Make sure you
Yeah.
drop the links in the general.
Do
when,
drop it in the show room when it comes
when it's
out.
ready.
Yes.
I would like to read it because I'm
Basically,
curious about this history.
I basically selected the best books to really be. Some of them have lessons for today as well, but so I
These are
have
the
about
best books. These are our books. We love these books.
Yeah, but yeah, the best author I think is
The
Sean
best
McMeekin
books.
on like the Russian Revolution, like Stalin, World War II, and some of the other aspects, and just the whole phenomenon. Really, it's just what people just don't realize just how insane this period was in history.
You know,
Russian-
history is very complex and interesting, right? People
Yeah,
say, history repeats itself and all that, but
It usually
that's not
rhymes.
always the case. It's not always the case
it
because
doesn't always.
people don't get taught it, right? People don't know
Yeah,
about the history.
A lot of it
right,
gets
and
ignored and forgotten,
Of course.
which is by design in a lot of cases.
Of
Okay,
course it is.
so
Of course it's by design.
Russian Revolution should be this weekend.
yes, I
That'll
just
be
gotta.
Memory Eternalist on Substack, correct?
Yes, I
And I
just
assume you'll tweet
gotta
it out on
write.
X, although I don't know are you allowed to do that on X? I don't know what the fucking rules
Yes,
are. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're
basically,
right.
you'll get throttled if you do the links. So what I do is I put the picture
Sure,
Post the
sure.
title
preview.
and then in
Okay.
the replies you put it.
Yeah, and
That's why I
Wait,
get my streams
are they
too.
still punishing?
yeah,
Are
they
they
still
still punishing?
Oh, they've been
yeah,
throttling
they
forever,
throttle
like
you.
Twitch links. This is why I can't just post like my.
No, I mean for
For
Substack.
Substack,
They're
yeah,
still
because
throttling
they
Substack. I
see
thought
the
they stopped that
notes
in the end.
as like a competitor to X or
Well, I
Twitter.
understand. I understand that. Yeah, but I thought they had stopped the throttling about half a year ago, but maybe not.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is
And
what it is. But yeah, we'll when
once
you
I
post it,
finish that,
that'll be cool.
I always thought about doing another. So I know everyone I saw, like every one of my friends, where they were freaking out about the Thousand Year Door remaster coming, and I kind of wanted to do like, why is everyone so pumped up for that game?
I like the
People
game. I
claim
just don't
that's.
know if it
They
like.
say it's. Don't they
I-
say that's the greatest Mario game of all time?
No, it's not. But it's probably the best Paper Mario game. I don't know. I like my problem with this remake is that like, isn't Paper Mario's graphics perfect already? Like, does
I think what they're doing is they don't
Because-
change the graphics too much, but they're adding like new sprites, new animations,
Sure.
and I think they're updating the music. They're like every character, for
okay, so
example, now
they're
has like
uncompressing the music basically, so we can hear the tracks as they were intended.
Well,
Also,
not
on top
just
of that
new
too,
instrumental.
Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is like a $120 game.
What?
Like, if you want a physical copy of it,
But I can download
Yeah.
it for
The
an
game
I
is
have-
$120.
I mean,
GameCube games are expensive.
yeah, the
Are you
cost of
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
because the
probably right
GameCube
about
didn't-
that.
the GameCube it didn't have CDs. It
Oh,
used their own.
am so cheapest price is 140. It's going for 241 on Amazon right now.
Wait, is
Let me-
this a run about like the remake, right?
No, the original.
Yeah.
The remake is coming
original.
out.
We're talking about
The original.
If you want a copy of the original GameCube game, these are the prices.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay,
the
I was gonna
remake
say,
isn't
yeah,
out yet. We have to.
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
we have to
I
first
was gonna
get,
say. I thought you were on about the. I thought you were on
No,
about the
no, no,
original.
no,
I was
no,
gonna
no,
say.
no.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
The whole point is that the Israeli-Palestinian reveals that we wouldn't have to deal with these conflicts so much if it wasn't for the mass immigration causing people to carry over their ethnic grudges to our doorstep.
I don't know. I feel like you could sympathize with the Palestinians and their state. Their
You
state that they're
could.
currently in, right? Like, I don't
But
think that's
a lot of them-
exclusively
a
on
lot
a
of them-
racial basis,
yeah.
right?
No, but the problem is a lot of them have.
Like, there is an
Essentially-
ethnic component, obviously, in the protests in America.
I know,
but like,
but
I don't feel
many
like
of
it would
them have-
exclusively go away just because.
I know.
And a religious basis.
Yeah, that too. They have an ethnic and a religious basis for their sympathies. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's like
Yeah,
they're,
you would
they're
l-
people.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Sorry.
What I'm trying to say is like, you can avoid, you can sympathize, but you have to be careful with the rhetoric they say because, a lot of these
I
actors
mean, like, I
think
can
that
just
no
take
country
my
should have
opinion
borders.
that, what's going on in Gaza sounds like it's a terrible thing. The starvation, the blockades,
Cutting off the
you know,
electric and the water and the food, dude. I
cutting
mean,
off
this
their
seems crazy.
resources. I mean, like,
They
their
no longer have
conditions are
internet.
truly abhorrent, right?
Yeah, and it is
It
funny. I
seems
don't,
bad to me.
it's weird to see. I mean, what are the chances this ruins like the ability to leverage the memory of World War II and the Holocaust? I feel like it might.
Get why
it
they
And
might
would
it
do
always
that.
goes back to the Holocaust.
Wait,
Oh
wait,
my
I don't get
God.
Or
what you mean
Hitler.
by that.
Yeah, I
Basi-
was going to ask, what do you mean
So,
exactly by that?
unofficially speaking, what people call the Boomer Truth regime or the Nuremberg
on.
moral paradigm. It's a lot of they're stuck on this one historical event, which they've transformed into a mythology.
What,
You know,
Germany's
it's
invasion
why-
of Poland that escalated really started with the
The-
Spanish Civil War, and then you had the conflicts between China and Japan.
Well, yeah, the European
blowing
civil
up,
wars,
and then the
if you may call
Japanese
them.
conflict blowing up into America, and then the conflict in Africa of Germany taking territory east to ensure their oil supply. But yes, please continue.
That's the point. Is that this one event has been transformed
I mean,
into
isn't it like the most people in any conflict ever died in that conflict?
I'm not talking about World War II. I'm talking about the Holocaust. Like this
That was
is
part
held
of
as the
World War II.
perennial.
I mean, that was a serious event that happened.
Yeah.
The
Like,
point
it was a canon event. I mean, like, it happened.
I know
It happened to some degree. People disagree on numbers and other stuff, I'm sure, but like, regardless, I mean, there was clearly some effort to expel people of certain faiths from Germany, right?
Yeah,
Or
there was.
certain,
There is actual evidence. But yeah, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
the point is, yeah. Here's how I put it like this, because like I said, I don't agree. Is that the Holocaust never truly has just become a historical tragedy, not because millions of people didn't die, they did, but from the day one, basically ever since then, ever since recent history, many Western governments, organized groups, they've leveraged it as a way to weaponize politics to essentially ban right-wing politics, because they'll say the Nazis are right-wing, ergo right-wing politics killed all the Jews, therefore right-wing politics should be
Yeah,
peaceful.
I
I've
agree.
always
But
found
Nazis
the-
aren't right-wings,
I've always
though.
found the German National Socialist Party to be quite left-wing
Right-wing.
and quite Marxist. In a
Yeah,
lot of the
yeah.
ways they
I get
operate.
that.
Basically,
yeah,
it's a
carry on.
foundational myth. It's become a foundational
Yes, it is.
mythology.
It is a myth. Yeah,
Well, mythology is
that's
the
probably a
truth.
better word. Yeah.
The truth behind these events is irrelevant, and the worst problem is the victims of the Holocaust are no longer treated as people, but the whole thing becomes a cudgel to reinforce, the ever-changing
Okay,
narrative.
actually,
in a bunch of-
answer this question. Who are the victims of the Holocaust?
All right, you
What,
have at
in
least
current day.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
Yeah, who?
so
Who would
you
be
have
the victims of it?
so you have about 4 to 5 million Jews for one, and people would include groups like gypsies,
Gypsies,
the
homosexuals,
intellectual
various other
disables.
people that were,
Slavs, autistics.
Yep. Slavs, the mentally
Yeah.
infirm.
Other Germans.
Yes, other
Which-
Germans too were involved. They were also fucked up.
I know. Of course, now some people would quibble and say that the Croatians killed a bunch of Serbs, and therefore that's a separate thing from the Holocaust, or like
They
other
killed a bunch of
forms.
Albanians too.
Well, that was Mussolini. Mussolini made Albania a protectorate of the Italians, the Kingdom of Italy. So
Didn't,
what I'm getting at is that there were,
Yeah.
it's essentially they're trying to wrap in all the deaths that were deliberate, whether it was deliberate or part of being stuck in a concentration camp. There's all schematics, but the point is, enough people died that you could make a narrative out of it.
Sure.
And of course, no one talks about the
wait, can you
retaliatory
explain what you mean
ethnic
by a
cleansing of
narrative?
German. But that's the point of the Nuremberg moral paradigm.
Nuremberg
Basically, it's-
moral paradigm. Go on.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'll say before I go. Basically, they're taking a real historical
what's the
event,
Nuremberg moral paradigm?
the post-war consensus, basically
Post-war
the Treaty of
consensus
West-
This
Ever
is the
since
history, right?
1945. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, you know how
Is
the
it-
30 Years' War ended with the Treaty of Westphalia, and that
I-
Yeah.
was
I
people
guess I am
created
now
a new
because you've said it.
system. Well, think of it as like that. This is the new Westphalia, or like it got rid of that and established new international
What do you-
norms and
okay,
stuff.
but when you say the Treaty of
I mean,
Westphalia,
but you
what do you
still
mean by it? I'm
have-
just trying to understand, like, because you just for the Treaty of Westphalia, what did that do? Because you gotta walk it back.
Well, it undermade a paradigm shift in Europe. It essentially it changed the way how states are formed, how they do actions like war, how treaties work.
So was it like
how
kind of like a Magna
consensus-
Carta level event, kind of?
Sort
I think it
of.
would be much bigger than.
It's much bigger
probably
than
much-
that.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting
This is
interesting history.
essentially-
I know it's not really something that
It's
probably really taught a lot.
where a new influence mythologies change, and the way World War
Influence
II
mythology.
is bad is that basically they would say stuff like offensive wars, launching wars of offensive is now a criminal conspiracy, or
Is that wrong?
the anti. No, because most of his people launch wars all the time, and they were never you didn't see this call to like effectively occupy the pot or punish the population if they lost a war, or like
Yeah.
if this kind of stuff, like the
But
idea
to play
that you can go
devil's
full
advocate for a moment,
countermeasures.
if you sought to punish the population for committing wars of offense, would that not diminish public support for committing wars of offense? To play devil's advocate,
Well,
for
or
if
just
your
creates-
goal was to ensure peace and prosperity and people not invading their neighbors, would not the most effective mechanism to keep people from invading be to destroy their support with their people by punishing them for the actions of their leadership?
Yeah, but this would all depend on how much power you got over the media, right?
Yeah,
Not even
well,
with the
Steve
media,
Moore,
but I
that's
mean, like,
probably-
you're no, because your government
Or
would have to
culture.
like a government would governments would have to implement the punishment to the people of that
Basically,
other nation,
so-
right? It doesn't matter about the media.
Yeah.
But
the other
you
thing
punish
that
the
they
other
did was
nation and you tell
effectively
them this is because of what your politicians did. You're being punished for their actions, right?
Well, the point is, what also came out of this was that, effectively speaking, right-wing politics, true right-wing politics, became illegal.
What makes right-wing
Because-
politics true?
In a way, yeah. In a way, it basically still is, right? I mean,
Yeah,
y-
there's
you can't.
Western nations, a lot of them are not allowed to assert unique racial characters of their nations. They're not allowed to
True.
have national sentiments. They're
Like which nations?
They're basically, Kaz could say the UK, France.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well,
one.
the
Germany,
UK doesn't have
Belgium.
laws protecting expression. Makes sense that it happens there.
I suppose a very simple. I know this is a very basic example, but there's a lot of dismissal to not dismissal, but disgust if you were to be flying like the English flag, or for a while the media was like calling it very cringe, very not good to be flying a English flag.
Yeah,
Do you care what
that
the
was
English
for a
media
while.
thinks?
I think it's actually reverted now. I
So-
don't think it's as bad as it was, but yeah, carry on. Yeah,
But you're not saying it's a legal basis for it. You're saying that it's like an institutional effort.
oh no,
to...
no, I'm not saying it's a legal thing.
Right,
I'm
but you're
saying it's
saying
a
like there's
more
an
of a cultural thing.
institutional effort to try and prevent openly nationalistic sentiment, right?
Well, I
Populist
suppose
sentiment,
you
right?
could argue it, but I suppose you could argue it potentially is institutional, or it was.
Well, right, because you're
because
talking about the
we had
media,
a lot
right?
of
We all agree the media is an institution.
Well, no, I'm on about more the government, because we had it for a while where councils were saying you're
Oh,
not
so
allowed
you're
to be.
in the UK, you're saying it was literally happening from the government level.
Yeah, we had for a while. There was a few councils that were saying you're not allowed to be flying a England flag, essentially.
Okay, so basically you had
Well,
government.
was it just
in the
England or
UK...
the UK though?
No, I understand. But
Well,
you're
I'm
saying
just
in the
done
UK
that, but-
there were explicitly anti-nativist, anti-populist sentiment
Yeah.
as law.
Yeah, for a good while. I do think it's changed in recent years, but for a good
So-
while.
But
Here's
it
how I
makes
put it
sense
like
in the
this.
UK,
Yeah.
right? You don't have expression laws, right? And you're more
No.
of a
So
European
Nicholas
mindset.
Shalevi Let me
carry on,
in
Yellow.
my
Yeah.
in my article where I talked about the origins of anti-fascism as the crusading ideology of the post-West, he points out that a
But the
lot of the
conditions for
reasons
anti-fascism aren't there anymore, Yellow Lantern. It can't exist.
no, because
Well, the
anti-fascism is
conditions
the
aren't
state
there. There's no
religion.
fascism, so it can't exist, right?
It can still
Just like
well, that's
fascism
because
can't
it's
exist because the conditions are gone. The conditions for anti-fascism aren't there, correct?
well. What if anti-fascism self reinvents itself to say that
But the
any
conditions aren't there, right?
criticism of well, no, I
Otherwise, you
mean
could
we
say
live under a
fascism
regime.
reinvented itself as corporatism, right?
No,
Yes.
you're
You
not
could obviously
letting me
say that.
explain.
You could obviously say that, right?
Yeah, go on, Yellow. Please explain.
So
'Cause I
as
want to hear.
as Thomas, I think this thread when I talked about this, I remember when I was responding to, I pointed out that yeah, communists can be just as genocidal, if not more so,
Well,
because
I
they
mean,
don't
this
just
is
take
on
out
the
ethnic
historical
groups.
record. I mean, many would argue it's still happening today.
Yeah.
There are monks in Tibet, and there are Uyghur people in China, that aren't
So
having a good time, right?
as Thomas 777 said, let me find this.
Mr. Tom 777, yes.
So
The noted
everyone
prophet
probably
Tom
finds
777 said.
So he describes it like this. Everyone probably finds it tiresome to view it as a shill that I return to this necessity, but we live under a political theological regime of anti-fascism. Hitler is
But the
portrayed as
conditions aren't there,
Lucifer.
Yellow Lantern.
Yes, we live
But
because
the conditions aren't
anti-fascism
there,
is
Yellow
nothing
Lantern.
more
How
than
can it exist?
Just to, I mean, all good. Please, can you explain it, Yellow Lantern?
yes,
I just
as
want
you
to.
would say it. It's the Nuremberg moral is the political theological regime, and it uses the rhetoric of anti-fascism to suppress dissent. Hitler is portrayed as the new Satan, as Lucifer, the ultimate evil. The Jews are seen as the elect, the victims. World War II is seen as like the war in heaven.
But they were victims of World War II.
But not just, but like the special
Specifically,
kind
German
of
and
victims.
Eastern European Jewish people, they were definitely victims of World War II.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they're seen as the elect,
What do you
as
mean by the elect?
the sacrifice. Yeah, that in political theological terms.
Could
World War
you
II is seen
explain
as
what
like
that
the war.
means? Elect. Political theological terms, because what does that
Basically,
mean? Is what I'm trying to understand.
They were the sacrifice. They were the people
Sacrifice?
who were. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that
In a
So
political
they were
way,
like
yeah.
the Jesus for them, right? They were the scapegoat that had to be sacrificed to wash away their sins, right?
not exactly, but I'm
I mean,
getting
that's
to
basically
that.
what it is, right? They needed
World War
some
II,
weird
basically,
pagan sacrifice to
World
be
War
made
II
clean
is seen
again,
as
right?
the war in heaven, and
The
that
war in heaven?
yeah, and that right bring political activity is tantamount to devil worship. That is the system
Essentially.
you live under.
But
Yeah,
wouldn't you
so-
say that many leftist people specifically engage in traditional Luciferianism?
Oh, they do technically,
Like
but
actual
that's
Satanism,
approved of
which
by the. Yeah, but that's
Like,
approved
for
of by the
example,
institution.
I don't like. Here's the truth. I am not a wereaboo or a simp for National Socialism, but I do not regard Hitler as the ultimate evil. I think we had
Not
much
really,
more.
no.
I think we had
I don't know,
much
man.
more
That's a pretty
worse
heavy
leaders.
Russian and European body count that I would say he was pretty evil.
But we
I would
if
say
he had
he's-
chosen differently, there'd be a lot less dead Europeans as well.
I would say I would say yes, he's evil, but I wouldn't actually call him the ultimate evil. But that's what the media and government wants us to believe, right?
That's why everyone's calling each other fascists or Nazis, or
That's why everyone calls each other Nazis. Yeah,
that it just will never end, and it will.
it won't end, man.
And people are stuck in this paradigm. This is why I do not consider, everyone to be. This
But
is
you
the whole
say
point. Is
America
that
is a communist country.
well, Moldbug
But you
would agree
engage
with
in the
that
exact
statement.
same activity that you criticize the other side for doing. Because
Can I just,
communism is explicitly evil, correct?
Can I just say this one thing, because obviously it's going to move on. Now, a good example of like everyone using the word Nazi and Hitler as like the worst thing ever. A good example, I think, is yesterday where I think is it The View who called Palestinians basically like the Proud Boys, and
Did
that
really?
all
Did they
think
really
of.
do
They
that?
compared the
Yeah,
Hamas surprise attack to
Hamas.
January 6th
Sorry,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. I think it was that they basically said Hamas was essentially like the Proud Boys. Now, this is a perfect example of how limited the institution's thinking is. You know, the only way they can like make it make sense to them is saying, "Oh yeah, that's the
But they're
Proud
just
Boys." Now,
talking
we
in
all
like
know the Proud
meme.
Boys
They're
aren't that.
talking in like the memes of like their culture. You know, they're just
Mm,
like this is
I
this is how
don't
they
know
have
whether
normal
because
conversations. You know, like
I don't know whether I'd say memes because memes in my mind I classify more as like a fiction, like a not complete fact. Uh, and I classify it more as a joke. But you know, these people on the View that they believe that the Proud Boys are literally like the worst people to exist in America.
oh yeah,
So
no, they
and now they
absolutely are.
compare the Proud Boys, yeah, and they compare the
They
Proud Boys
absolutely believe that. That is 100% true.
to Hamas.
Yeah.
Their stupidity is so strong that and their belief in the cult is so strong that they think Hamas is the same as the Proud Boys. You
Well,
know, a
also
bunch of guys.
wasn't Hamas chanting like "gas to Jews" and "finish
Yes,
Hitler's job" and stuff like
yeah,
that though?
Yeah, but now they're even
they've been
so.
yeah,
It just goes back and forth. Nobody can ever move
of course it does.
past or choose another historical example.
Of course they
You
can't.
know,
Yeah,
I mean, Hamas
yeah,
But that
I
can't
was
even
agree.
do
Hamas
it, I
chanting it
guess,
though.
right?
Yeah.
No, I
They
completely,
can't move past it.
I completely agree with what you're saying, Atlanta.
and this is the tragedy: is that we will never make any progress as long as people constantly mystify and turn
Yeah,
really a historical event and a tragedy into the founding mythology of the post-war consensus.
I mean, Muslims do it
yeah,
with
I agree.
9/11 too. They'll be like, "Oh, we got to redo 9/11."
Well,
So
you know, I don't know if this is a point or not, but it's like before we had let's say 1905 or around there, right? The people generally would think about very historical events like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, whereas now every single thing is basically compared to it's like Hitler or it's like the Nazis.
Well,
It's
I think
very
Kaz, I think that's just because that's where we define modernity is currently, right? And whether
Well,
rightfully or
well,
wrongly
yeah.
so, right? Like that's literally called the modern era, right?
Yeah. Actually, probably yes. You know, that's probably what the problem is people can't really consider anything before that. I think this is an education problem, though. You know, you've got so many people who are
You're not gonna get any argument from me
drag.
that we have education problems. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
kids are dragged through the educational system, and
You're not
they're
gonna get any
taught
fight
all
from
of
me
this
on saying
stuff.
that our school system is an absolutely corrupt and evil institution that
It really
turns
is.
out anti-American and anti-freedom people. No,
Yeah, it is.
you're right about that.
It really is bad.
yeah,
And I don't know if you had a similar experience when you were in school, but for I think it was 1 or 2 years when I was in school, we had this teacher who was like a very, very black guy, right? And he would say the most based things you would ever hear. And he would say, "This is the curriculum, you know, this is the education. I'm told to teach you this." But
But here's the
then
truth.
he would, yeah, then he would basically say the truth. And it's very enlightening when you're a kid and you're seeing how the government is telling these teachers you need to teach this, yet the teacher is like, well, this is a bit bullshit. This is what really happened. I think it's quite an enlightening thing, and maybe not every school kid had
Well,
that experience,
the
but I
truth
did,
is,
and it's
Kaz,
quite good.
there are still good teachers out there.
I agree. No, I agree. I completely agree. You know the Trump quote of, you know, there are a few good people out there. There are,
Some of them, I
I
assume,
assume
are
some are
good
good
people.
people.
Yeah.
That's the quote. Yeah, that's the quote. And that's true. You know,
There are
I
absolutely
actually do
great
know a few.
teachers. Like, I know a few great teachers myself. You know, they were just
Yeah,
not ones I
I
went to
do
school
know a
with,
few
but they
good
teach.
teachers. Yeah, I know a few good teachers, but sadly, it does feel like not feel like it is true that the vast majority
A
of
lot
teachers
of the
are
worst
not like
people
this.
are drawn to teaching, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Right? Because
and
Basically,
I think it's
it kind of looks at the position of like, like Martin says, it's like, I'm not sympathetic to Zionism, whatnot, but I don't support, all the, non-American or foreigners, bringing the third world conflicts and feuds to our doorsteps.
to our
I
doorsteps.
mean,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
the
why
problem.
anyone disagree with
We
that.
have
It
all
seems
of
like
this
an
brought.
uncontroversial opinion.
We had all of this brought to us, and obviously there's the meme slash quote of "we didn't vote for this," and we didn't vote for this, as in we
No, there's
in
no
this
mass
chat we
support
didn't
for
vote
mass
for it.
immigration anywhere.
Yeah.
It was obviously
No,
introduced by political leaders with, properly
Business
covered
links
by
and all that.
media and various other institutions. It was
Yeah,
institutionally
that's
implemented,
certainly
obviously.
true. Of course it is, and you can see from you can see from all of these university students that are very strongly supporting the Palestinian efforts. You can see that is that's caused a problem, an extremist problem amongst the far left. You can see now that people are waking up to see that, oh, okay, this stuff we've built of all these far left people is probably not a good thing, and it's going to cause problems. We're going to start seeing significant terrorist attacks from the left going over the next like 10 years. I reckon we'll start seeing that.
I mean, what do you call the riots of 2020? I mean, like that don't
No,
really
yeah, I
happen.
know that.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
well,
I
it
know
was a
that,
flex.
but like,
we
It was
had
a flex.
Yeah,
we had
but the
terror
black-
attacks. We had plenty of terror attacks. I mean, like,
yes,
this is
but
nothing new.
I mean increasing. I mean significantly increase. I mean there's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what
It-
do you mean? There were terror attacks? Plenty of
Something
terror
mad.
attacks in 2020, you know?
Yeah, we had 2020, 2021 where we had significant riots, but I mean it's going to be more publicized, but it is the far left. Because at the time you had institutions like CNN and all of that condoning it essentially, right?
Oh, I mean,
They
It
were
was
saying
mostly it was
when have they
mostly
not,
peaceful.
though? Like, this is nothing new.
yeah, but
I would say here's how
I know it's not
right?
new, but I do think it's going to swap. I do think it's going to flip. I do think over the next 10 years or so, we're going to start seeing mainstream media such as CNN. They're going to start talking about how it's the far left causing significant riots, significant terrorist attacks, and all of that.
Really? Oh, then we have a bright future.
I think that.
I honestly hope you're correct. That would be a step
I
in a
don't-
positive direction.
obviously, you know.
But it doesn't mean I'm going to trust these people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I could be wrong. I'm just saying this is something that I think may happen. Who knows, right? But we'll see.
I think it'd be a step in the right
Okay,
direction.
so-
I mean, they would regain some trust for sure that they've squandered over
It's
this.
like, so the deal there is that, yeah, post 1945 Nuremberg world order is designed to dismantle, deconstruct, and destroy European identity. The way its principles are viewed it. And of course, I have taken some people to say, well, you can't invoke that same principles that, these people used to disenfranchise us. Is that really gonna work? It's like, you can't appeal to freedom or self-determination.
Why not?
You do realize, like, the whole point is like people trying to use civil rights law to get the same benefits and privileges from the other
I'm
side,
confused.
which
Why can't you appeal to freedom?
because your enemies don't believe in it.
Okay, well,
They're
I don't care what
purely
my enemies think.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reality. I don't give a fuck.
They
what
have
my enemies
power.
think.
Well, because at this point they have power, so you kind of have
Just,
to.
Do they though?
just a sec. It isn't. I think your point there is the fact that our enemies are using it against us in our own countries. Is that what your point is there?
Yeah, I mean, like border guards letting migrants cross unopposed or sending them back. Like every institution designed to safeguard life has been subverted and turned against you.
Can I give an example of this? So in the UK, we're trying to deport these foreigners to Rwanda, right? And we're having all of these people, in quotes, exploiting the legal system to try to prevent it happening. And this has
Well, you
caused a
see
big
it
problem
too.
here.
A lot of NGOs are abusing maritime laws to ship migrants
That's true.
off the
That's
coast
true.
of
Yeah, that's
Africa,
happening. Yeah,
where
that's
they
happening. Yeah.
intentionally they put them on boats that are like not
Yes.
safe or will overflow, so that the Coast Guard is forced to rescue them.
Well, you don't even have to look to Africa. You can just look to the UK. We're having it where we have thousands of that many coming from France that come over, and what they do is that now this is a direct experience that I've heard directly from a border patrol person. What they'll do is they will call for help while in the English Channel, and then they'll say, you know, their boat is fucked, all of this stuff, and you know everyone's gonna die. And then our border
Is
police
there a duty
will
to like
go
help
over there
people for
and
your
rescue.
Coast Guard?
Well, I believe it is. I
Really?
believe there is
I thought they were like our
a
cops,
legal
where it was
duty.
like they have no obligation to help you if you're in danger.
No, I believe
Yeah.
there is a legal requirement for people to help other people in like a fucked boat. So what'll happen is our border patrol will go and pick them up in the middle of the ocean, right? They'll pick them up and they'll take them back to the UK, back to England, and then we'll give them like free benefits. We'll give them a free hotel to stay in while they wait for their quote court date, end quote.
Man,
Yeah,
Kaz,
we're
you're
paying
just
for
like
them.
he's just like me for real, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, it absolutely sucks what we're doing. You know, I see what pisses me off, dude, and I'm sure it pisses you lot off as well, is I see this happening. I see how our government is helping all of these migrants out, and we've got our own problems. You know, we've got our own elderly who are
Your
suffering. We've got our
NHS
own
is
homeless who are
bankrupt, your
suffering.
costs are going up, you know, you're not seeing yeah.
We've got our NHS, which has got problems. We've got all of these problems, right? Yet we're happy to flood billions into these fucking scum people who are just coming over here for free shit. It's very annoying.
Oh wow, you're dealing with the same shit we are.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
Welcome
saying
to the
it's
West,
annoying.
my friend. No, I
The only
get you,
difference
man.
is I'll take, if I had to pick which country they were from, I'd rather take Venezuelans than Africans. But that's just me.
Oh, you don't get to choose. That's
Well,
the
that's
fun of an
probably
open
true.
border, Geeky. You don't have a choice. It's just everyone.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. It'll just be everyone, and that's
I
another
really
issue. You
feel
know,
what I'll
we
say
don't know who
is
they are.
I feel really uncomfortable the idea that a bunch of people from countries that my nation indiscriminately bombed in wrongful wars of aggression might be flooding into my country, probably with some bad opinions of me based on the actions of my
Exactly.
leaders. Like, you know, it's one of those things I don't feel really comfortable about, you know? Like,
Yeah. Now,
you
now
know,
I've seen a lot of people on the right saying how, you know, we are bringing these people in, and these are the ones that are attacking you, Ben Shapiro. You know, you types, and I'm like, yeah, okay, they may have bad opinion of Jews, but the main thing is they've got bad opinion of the native population, and now it's suddenly bad just because they hate the Jews.
Yeah,
Like,
it's collateral
no,
damage. That's the whole point.
it's
Like,
bad because they hate the native population. It's not bad
Yeah.
because they hate the Jews. They've always hated the Jews, and they've always hated the native population, and yet it's only bad now because of the
well,
Jews.
I mean,
No,
like, I don't
just
say
No,
they've
like-
always hated foreign nations. You could say that maybe
well,
about,
they've
like,
hated us.
well, look, you
Well,
could probably
it-
definitely
it's-
say that
it's
about, like,
funny
the Spanish
because-
and the Iberian Peninsula and
well,
the conflicts
the-
there, but...
because many of these many of these pundits, neoconservatives, like Ben Shapiro, like they never cared about the demographic situations in the countries.
No, they never did. You're right.
Or in some cases, they helped foment the rhetoric. In the case of like the more liberally minded Jews, they're the ones who
Yeah.
came to the left. So they're acting all shocked that suddenly they're the ones now target of the rhetoric.
Yes, yes.
And that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at. It's like
Yeah,
the
because
golem has turned on its master.
Yeah, now they're thinking, oh my God, wow, this maybe was a bad idea. Maybe these people were right when they were saying about how bad it is to bring all these people in. Now they're acting all like it's a shocking thing. Dude, we've been saying this for fucking ages, right? And we've been saying it's a bad idea. We've been saying multiculturalism is a bad idea. We've been saying these people will not integrate forever. Yet now, just because now it's about the Jews, now it's a big deal. No, it was a big deal before, but you didn't give a shit because it was the average native person who was fucked.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think multiculturalism by itself is absolutely destined to fail.
On the face of it, it isn't. No,
What
on
I'll
the
say
face of
is,
it isn't. But
in the current systems that exist in all Western nations, multiculturalism is doomed to fail and cause horrible
of course it is.
destruction.
Of course.
Like it's
Of course,
absolutely,
on the face
it's
of it,
absolutely just
multiculturalism.
terrible. But I would say if you had, say, a society where you didn't have a welfare state, you didn't have high taxes, you didn't have, honestly, you didn't have as much democracy, right? Like if you had, like,
And in a job.
or if you had like a more regimented democracy where there was seniority, your family had to be here for like 50 to 100 years before you could even vote, or take part in the political process. Like there are ways you could, I think, implement and successfully take full advantage of multiculturalism. Obviously, no one's interested in doing that. No one will do that.
No.
So that's why.
No one.
That's for me why I'm like, look, man, I'm responsible for these people because I pay way too much in taxes. I have a whole bunch of collapsing, institutions and systems that are propping these people up. Like it doesn't work. I'm sorry. It could work. Not even in an ideal world.
Yeah,
just
no,
a
that's
sensible
what I
world.
mean.
That's the tragic part.
Yeah, no, I've actually I've said similar things to people in real life. Multiculturalism can actually be working, and it can actually be the meme of it is our strength. However, the way it is right now, it can't be because we're bringing people in, we're letting them take over the country, right? That's not.
Well, I mean, it's
good.
like, oh, hey, yeah, one generation, you have political power. Go.
That's not good. No, that's not good.
That's not wise. That's not wise at all.
And in fact, there's actually research suggesting that the first generation is like 1 trillion times worse than the original people that get here. In terms of like they don't want to integrate. Apparently the first generation that arrived, like we're talking years ago, they actually apparently
I'll see you guys
integrated.
later. I gotta go.
All right, yeah, we'll
night,
see you later, man.
I
Good
think
talking to you.
Kaz is putting what I was saying earlier in a lot better context.
Yeah, in summary.
A little bit. I don't know if you were listening earlier.
I wasn't here, but I think I'm probably getting it. I'm probably not.
The last thing, the humorous. Good God, that Philly journalist's Twitter feed from Beyond the Grave. He's providing a lot of funny content and material.
I mean, from
you
all
guys
the
know what I'm
evidence,
talking about.
he was absolutely a despicable human.
I know, and he had so many tweets that have just aged terribly.
Well, okay,
I guess
I don't really like. Okay, the people that like tweeted like their condolences for him. Yeah, the guy was a scum, but they didn't necessarily know that. So it's like yeah, I think you were. It's a badly aged take, but like at the end of the day, I mean, someone walked into his house and shot him. Like I could see, you could feel.
Well,
sympathy
it wasn't just
for that.
anybody.
Yes,
apparently
it was somebody. But I'm saying with the information they had at the time, right? Like with the information at the time, it was like, yeah, that's that's a tragedy. And then it was
he should have been able to. He should have been able to defend himself. He should have had guns to defend himself.
I think he should have been allowed to defend himself in court and then been punished for decades in jail. That's what I think should have happened to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't feel very satisfied with him being assassinated because it's like he deserves to be in jail.
He deserves to be locked up for the rest of his life. Yeah,
absolutely.
He deserves to be locked up.
You groomed a child. Like
there's
no way around that.
Here. We've got a pedo who's being celebrated.
Imagine the Norm Macdonald tweets if he could like see the bit.
Oh,
someone did the thing where it's like, deceased Philly journalist Josh Kruger was turned on by minors and then was permanently turned off by a minor.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
This may be a controversial take, but everyone involved in this story should die.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, it's the same as what I'm thinking about the Israel-Palestine thing. But yeah, see you later, man. Have a
Have a
good
great night,
have
yo,
a good night,
Lantern.
have a good
And
sleep.
remember,
Have a good
get
night.
that article this weekend about the Russian Revolution and some book reviews, I think, they're talking about.
Well, the
Yeah.
books, the best books to understanding it, and a summary of what each one talks about.
Yeah, put it
So-
out. I'll check it out when it's out.
Mhm.
Would you consider it
And
kind of
I-
like a reading guide for those books?
Yeah, sort of. That's how I would put it, and just what each aspect, what like the books I selected cover each like historical aspect.
It's all historical because it happened in the past, but I understand what
But
you're saying.
yeah, there's lessons to be learned from it.
What about
All
a
right, I'm getting
Marxist
tired.
takeover
Good
night.
of a
Yeah,
large
see you
Eurasian
later, man.
country? Yes, there are lessons.
All right.
Good night, man.
And then
Good
I
night.
gotta also work on another story I've been working on, but yeah.
A
See you
story?
later.
A fictional story?
See you later, dude.
I mean, yeah, it's better than being where I was last year at the same time, which was being in a hospital bed.
Oh,
Yeah,
we are
that
glad
sucks.
you are healthy.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
glad you're much better than that.
All right.
We may disagree
until
on
next
things,
time.
but we still love you, brother.
Yeah, see you later, man. See- You know, this just to go back, the sucky thing that we have about the West in general is we have all of our culture, all of our good aspects used against us. You know, we will say stuff like, just this is not a great example, but it's the first thing I can think of that's easy and relatable. Is you will have lefties that will say, well, your Statue of Liberty says, you know, bring us your shit
God.
people and we'll accept them all. Yeah, that's not a good example because
One, the
that's not
French
what it
made it.
means.
Two,
Yeah, well,
let's
that's
just start at
that's
the
another
basis,
reason.
right? The
That's the
French
prime.
made this.
That's a primary reason why it should be ignored. But yeah, you know that's not what it means. The Statue of Liberty, you know, text doesn't mean bring in every
Well,
fucking
also,
piece of
that's a
shit,
poem that was added to the
every
statue
criminal.
many years later.
It wasn't even original.
Yeah,
It wasn't even
that was
the
not the
original
original
thing.
inscription on the fucking statue. They added
It
the
wasn't.
poem to it.
It was added afterwards, and it's
Yeah.
not.
Well, that would be like saying
It doesn't.
that'd be like saying and lo, Jesus said Jesus saves room for like salad or something years later. Like, well, no, it's not what he
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
bro. Like,
Yeah.
No, that's not what was there. Number one, it wasn't the original inscription. You know, that wasn't there originally. But you know, in short, these people are not the type of people that it was intended to be addressed to. You know, they're not saying we should bring in all of these criminals who are being released from prisons and allowed to just walk up
what,
to
the
the
guys
US.
that are walking out of
That's
South
not-
American prisons because they realize they'll just go
Yeah.
north and become our problem? Wow.
Yeah,
What a
yeah.
shock.
They're making it your problem, but not their problem. And dude, I understand completely why these countries are wanting to do that because of course they want to get rid of their criminals. Of course, they could just let America deal with their criminals.
Instead
But
of
like
like, you know, a
America
mass
shouldn't
like
be
target
accepting that.
assassination and murder campaign or something, that takes a lot of time,
Well, I
effort,
would
and
never.
money.
I would never support such a thing. Never, ever.
You know, it's funny I bring that up because I just finished rewatching the first 2 seasons of the television show Narcos, and
Oh yeah, that was a good show. Yeah.
oh, it's so
That is a
good.
great show.
And, you know, in the second season when they have basically like the right-wing death squad guys they brought in to just fuck Pablo Escobar over. And
Yeah,
just,
they fucked
they're
up a
just
lot, yeah.
killing like all of his dudes, and it's like, yeah, you know, like I could feel sympathy, but I've watched the whole 2 seasons, and like you fucking murdered the shit out of all these people. Like, of course, like why are you surprised by what's happening?
Why are they killing
Yeah, you
us?
shouldn't be surprised.
Completely unrelated to current events, but you know, well, imagine if you just murdered a whole bunch of people, and then people get together and team up to fuck you over. I can't imagine why they would do that.
Yeah, I mean, why would you be surprised? Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what's an interesting situation I'm seeing in some places where you've got places in Sweden where,
What
and I'm
about,
sure
like,
you've heard of these
Malmo
things
or
like
major
no-go.
cities, right, where they have grenade attack problems.
And they're basically
I'm
no-go
meaning-
zones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These no-go zones, right? So we
Isn't it
have
also happening in like
similar-
parts of Liverpool too?
I would say in nowhere near as bad as what you're seeing in other countries in the UK. The UK is way more. Uh, we don't have as bad as no-go zone as we see in like Sweden and
France or
France and
Nice,
stuff.
right?
However, right? You know, we're seeing this happen, yet media just completely ignores it. So
You know the
if
meme
I
of like the
in my
blind
mind, if
guy
it
like reaching around like right in front of where he's, you know, but like completely ignores that the thing right in front of him.
that's basically what it is. You know, we're ignoring the problem, right? We're hoping the problem just disappears. Yet it's not going to disappear
Oh, it will
without
never
significant
disappear.
intervention.
And it's
You
making
know,
it
just look
worse
at
by just
look.
by just letting it fester.
Of course it is. Just look at France, right? We're seeing now they're banning these Hamas support protests.
Which
Yet
honestly, like, look, I disagree with, you know, their
that
actions against Israel because like killing people is lame. Stop doing it, please. Obviously.
I agree
But
that they should be
I think
allowed to
politically
protest.
you should be allowed to support political movements because that's,
You
you
should be
know,
allowed to. Of
like you know, you could disagree with what they did and you could you could
course,
argue the cows home that like it's really insensitive, but that's not the way expression is supposed to work in the West. You know, expression is
it's meant
not
to be a
an
freedom.
exception.
It's meant to be free. It's meant to be a freedom of expression. It's meant to be a freedom of speech. However, when you've got the government clapping down on these shit, right? You've got
People burning your
the
nation's
UK government.
flag, they won't clamp down on it. But oh gosh,
No,
this
no, but
other this
you
other
know, got to
nation over
save their
there,
dues, right?
they'll drop everything for yeah. No, I
Yeah.
understand
Well,
the
that's my
hypocrisy.
main complaint about this. Is you? Here's an example, right? You know about Count Dankula, right?
Yeah, I know about
Yeah.
Dank. Yeah, him with the little dog.
Yeah.
He trained to do the funny little
Yeah, with the
gesture,
dog, right?
and you know they tried to put him in
Yeah.
jail for
So
that.
he just yeah. So they were trying to fuck him over. They did fuck him over in the end, and you know, fined him £800 or whatever it was, right?
He never
How
paid it
fucking
though, right?
petty.
It was taken from his bank account forcibly. He didn't pay it himself,
I mean,
but they took it from his bank
here's
account.
the thing, Kaz. That's the government's job is to rob you at gunpoint and then say it's your.
No, well, I
Yeah,
understand that.
but
Yeah, I
yes,
know
but
that's their job.
I understand. We try to dress it. We try to dress it up a lot, you know, and be like, well, you know,
Of course we
it's
do.
the cost of living in a society. Yeah, I get it. However,
Okay, so
what they did do
the
was fucked.
the thing that yeah, it was like so. The thing I'm saying is the government did that to Dankula, right? And Dankula, no matter what people say, right, he never intended this to be, you know, offensive. He was not
Oh, of
intending this to
course.
be like a. He's not a quote Nazi end
Yeah,
quote,
no,
right?
we all
He was
know
just doing this
that.
for a laugh,
Yeah, he thought it was
right?
funny because
He was
it's
doing it for a
funny.
laugh
Yeah.
It's a funny
because
little
it is
dog
funny.
doing a little funny gesture to taunt his girlfriend. Like
Exactly.
any adult,
And it is
any
funny.
adult free-thinking person would just be like, "Oh yeah, of course, it's a joke." You may not
Yeah.
think it's a funny joke, but that's the point.
But it is
It's
a joke.
humor. It is funny. Oh yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
But humor is
Humor
supposed to
is
be
not-
subversive. Humor is supposed to
Yeah.
make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah, humor is not something that every single person understands or gets, right? Everyone finds certain things funny. So my point here is, right, we've got Count Dankula, who is a convicted person here, right, who was fined £800, right? Yet you've got all of these people right now in the
Chanting
UK
death to
who are
you know,
going out chanting out all of those things. I'm not going to say it, but they're chanting all those things.
we can assume what they are. We know what
And
they're saying.
yeah,
And it's
we
like,
know what they're
you
saying.
know, what did they really mean by it? Let's consider no, they're calling for violence. Okay?
They're
Like,
calling for violence. right?
Myself, I don't even agree
They're
with the
asking for
prohibition
civilians.
against you can't say calls to violence. Like, you know, I mean, I guess in the UK I might agree with it because you guys can't, you know, get guns. But like in America, I own a gun. If you want to say I'm gonna kill you, I have the right to shoot you because you're a fucking dumbass. Okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
I
obviously we
understand it
haven't done that
more
yet.
for you as a UK person, right? That like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to threaten to call the violence people because there's a lot more imbalance of you know, violence and power there.
There's
just on
a
the basis.
there's a state imbalance. You know, the
Yeah.
state is allowed to do this, and we're not, right?
Well,
but
yeah,
either way,
and it's not
right?
even a matter of the state. I'm just saying, like, you know, if a guy's like a foot taller than you and 100 pounds on you with a machete, you're kind of fucked. You know,
Yeah, of course.
personally,
Unless you've got
my thing would
something-
be
some
you should
kind
be
of
allowed
weapon.
to arm up. You know,
Of
I would
course,
say,
yeah,
you
and,
know,
and I
like,
agree completely with that.
that would be. I'd say I'd rather just be able to arm up, and if someone wants to threaten you with violence, like you better start running, you shit.
Yeah. See. Obviously, in my mind, I'm thinking I'd rather have some kind of weapon which I can defend myself with. Either way, right? We all support that. But the point is, right? We've got people saying this right now, right, on the streets, on the internet, everywhere, saying much worse
Than
than
a
what
dog
Dankula
doing
said.
a gesture.
Than what Dankula did. Much worse than what Dankula did. And the point is as well is Dankula wasn't intending it to be a real thing, whereas these people are saying it and wanting it to be a real thing. They want,
Oh, well, why don't we just ask them? You guys mean what you're saying?
yeah, and
I
they
mean,
would say,
I'm pretty sure some of them would fly to those problem areas and join them. They could.
of course they would, of course they would. But
Well, I mean, there
you
were
know
calls
what?
for a
Why is it?
global
Why was it
jihad.
fine? Yes.
Yeah.
Calls
Why
to
was it
commit
fine
violence against the
for?
West.
Yeah, and why is it fine for all of these people to be saying this, and yet Dankula got screwed?
Yep.
You know, all of these people saying all of these things right now about the Jews over the last week, the 99.9999% of people are not going to be prosecuted. Nothing's going to happen to them. Yet Dankula was screwed by it. Does
Is
that
it
make
also because
sense
they're
to
not?
me? No.
Is it also because they're not UK citizens that are also chanting this?
No, these are all English people. English. But you know what I mean. These are UK citizens.
they are citizens of the UK. I know
Yeah,
you,
they're citizens.
you
Yeah,
can
they're
say they're not ethnically English, but they are
ethnically,
part of
yeah.
the United Kingdom as citizens. These
But
aren't
they are
illegal
part of it.
immigrants.
Yeah,
There's probably
and
some there,
that's
but-
what fucks me off.
Yeah, no,
That
it does
fucks me
fuck me
off.
up.
You know,
Absolutely,
we've got
'cause
Dankula got screwed for no reason.
for a
All of these
harmless
people are just,
gesture.
you know,
Absolutely
basically
harmless.
fine to do. Yeah.
Let's even observe, like, what did his action of comedy actually cause, right? Do you think anyone saw Dankula's dog and thought, you know what? Yeah, I love the Palestinians now. Let's go repeat
No.
what they're doing. Do you think anyone came out of that video where he just
No.
wanted to make a funny joke at his girlfriend that, you know what? Let's do
No.
no one. There was no call to violence. There was nothing even promoting action towards violence. It wasn't even promoting hatred. It was literally just my dog. I taught my dog to do a funny joke. All right. And meanwhile, people saying death to Israel, death to America, death to Jewish people, like people saying that, hey, you know, some of these people might take those words seriously. And these are disarmed UK or French people that can't defend themselves against multiple people. You know, like, I feel bad for them because, like, how are they supposed to defend themselves against them? And then their
They can't
government's
defend
basically saying
themselves,
that
of
this
course.
action is okay. And I know what's really going on. What's really going on is the UK knows if they respond to this and if they,
Yeah.
you know, if they push back against this in any way, people are going to violently
they'll
react
get
to
shit.
this. Yeah.
Of course
And
they
they're gonna
would.
call-
Just imagine.
And they don't want to be called Islamophobic and whatever.
Well, there's that too. Well, there's
There
the
is that as
cultural
well, yeah.
aspect as well. But like they know that people will, like these people will respond negatively to this. And
They
will
would,
try.
yeah, they would.
They're,
Just
they're,
look
they're
what would
afraid of
happen,
them.
right? Can you imagine it? Can you imagine, right, if the UK just came down on all these Islam people?
Oh,
It
yeah.
would be a shitstorm. And that's why they're happy to come down on us, you know, the native population, but they'll let them get away with it because they know they'll riot. You know,
Yeah,
why
'cause
should it?
you
It should be the
value
other way around.
society. You value peace.
Yeah,
You value
we do.
not going
we
to
do.
jail.
We do.
You know, you love your
It
neighbors.
should be the other way around.
Yeah, it should be reciprocal. It's not.
No, it isn't.
You know,
All right,
like
I've got to
yeah.
drop off. It's 7:10. I need to go and help my wife with some stuff. So
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Kaz.
Sorry,
Thank you,
I
Kaz,
couldn't.
for input. Fill your gas tank. Have a great night. I'm serious. Fill
Sorry,
your
I
gas
didn't
tank.
join earlier. I completely forgot. But yeah, trust me, all of my tanks are full. I'll see you later.
Yep. Have a great night.
Later.
But
See you
yeah,
later, man.
so
See you,
geek.
Geeky.
Oh. But geeky. So the 1,000-Year Door. When does that come out?
They just said next year.
Okay,
And I
next
think
year.
it's
So
at or
and we've
eight.
got next month. We've got Super Mario RPG. And on top
Next week
of
is the new Sonic game.
And Mario Wonder comes out in a week, actually.
Yeah, in a week, and then also Sonic Superstars comes out in a week as well.
Okay, explain to me what Sonic Superstars is.
It's a 4-player co-op game with Sonic, Knuckles, Amy, and Tails as your playable characters.
Is it
And
kind
it's
of
a
like
2D
Super Mario 3D World or 3D Land, the one where like you could have like
No,
all
more like
four?
New Super Mario Bros.
Okay. Okay. So it's like a Sonic game, but like New Super Mario Brothers?
Yes.
But not like a shared screen, right? Everyone's gonna have like their own individual screen, probably. Because
No, it's a
holy
shared
shit.
screen.
What? How? It's a Sonic game. I have to see this. That sounds insane. Is it like a Sonic like 2D 2.5D where you're like running around, or is it more like Sonic Adventure?
It is 2.5D.
Oh my, that's insane. How? If you're moving fast, how do you have a shared screen?
I will send you I'm gonna post the multiplayer trailer because I feel like this is what we need to watch.
That's how is that possible?
It is all right. It's in general.
Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how this is gonna work. You're saying this is split screen?
Oh, this was me. I've not seen multiplayer trailer. I thought it was all on the same screen.
Okay. Because that was insane. That was okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it does go to split screen, but it has same screen option as well.
Okay, because like I'm like think about this is a Sonic game, right? You're running fast.
Yes. And it is also very low co-op and everything as well. Like that's their big selling point. Like
I'm just like you understand, right? Why I was like so baffled, right? Because I'm just like what?
yeah.
Okay, I mean, it looks interesting. But like, holy shit, dude! I was just like, you told me that like New Super Mario Brothers. I'm like, what? How? What if like Sonic is like miles ahead and Tails is back? You know, who's been hit by something? Like, are you just dragged along?
I don't know. I mean, the reviews are out. It comes out like actually, I think it comes out tomorrow. I know I think it comes out on Monday, or it came out today. I don't know.
Is
I didn't get my call. It was ready.
cross-platform?
I'm not sure, but I also don't have PlayStation Plus right now because they raised the prices up, and I had to change my credit card for a little bit.
What happened there?
Some fraud happened. I had to but I got it all sorted out, you know.
Guessing your ex went on some shopping spree at your expense after you broke up or something.
No, no, she has no access to my cards.
Okay.
I'm not an idiot.
Wise. Sage.
Also, because I also had to change because of like the Sony hack, because Sony got hacked, and now they're giving everybody they're doing like some settlements. Like apparently, if you had a Crunchyroll account, like your
Wait,
info might have
Crunchyroll got hacked?
So Sony got hacked in general.
This is why I
So-
don't pay for anime.
Yeah, so my friend actually is getting a $30 settlement for Crunchyroll because of his information got leaked. Whoops.
It's like such an insult, man. Like, oh hey, my my social security number got stolen. Here's $30. Like, excuse me? Do you
Wait,
understand?
why does Crunchyroll have your social security number?
No. I didn't give Sony my social security number. But I'm saying, for example, right? Like, one of these leaks.
Yeah.
Someone gets your freaking social security number from it. Like, oh, here, 10 million people got a $20 million settlement. Here's $2 that we're going to pay over 20 months. Enjoy. Don't worry. You'll probably be fine. $30. So what does that $30 like cover? Is that just damages?
I guess. I mean, I
I'm
guess
just trying to
for your
figure
card
out like
information.
what is that supposed to be? Like, is it like funding his like membership for the entirety of it? Like,
He just got the email. He's like, "Yeah, you're entitled to a $30 claim because our information got leaked." Blah blah, whatever.
we are so
Yeah.
sorry this ever happened. Not happen
Yeah.
again until next week.
Well, then like, and then rumors that Sony got hacked like 2 weeks ago.
again.
But that's also hilarious. So we don't know what information got leaked out
No,
there.
we're always told that like Japanese and Asian people in general are super diligent. And yeah, it's like a lot of the times it's just their companies are old and set in their ways, and it's like, well, we don't need to spend all this money on cybersecurity. Come on, what monster would want to like super hack us like this? A few moments later, oh no! Who could have foreseen this turn of events?
I mean, I also find it funny because you got that, and then like, oh, we got hacked again, and then also, what makes me also think he's like, have you ever driven a Kia? Like, they're like the worst.
Oh, I've never driven a Kia.
Kias are so easily be stolen that there's countless YouTube tutorials on how to steal Kias. And they are the #1 theft cars behind Honda Civics.
Civic, careful with it.
Yeah, because Hondas are parts are universal, so it's like,
Good car too.
yeah, they're great cars. So like, oh, good, steal a Honda Civic, and then it's either scrap it for parts at a chop shop or
Bro, don't steal my Honda Civusi.
yeah. So, but you got stuff like that. I kind of want to ask your opinion on what they thought about Cenk Uygur running for president, even though he's technically
Buffalo will roam. I mean,
Они вообще все молодцы, пидоры.
can he run for president?
Well, that's the argument. He's trying to claim he can because he claims that his mom and dad had American citizenship when he was born in Turkey, despite being a naturalized
Turkish
citizen. Yeah, Turkish citizen. So
Yeah, we got a party
I
going
guess-
on over here.
everyone's claiming no, he can't, but he's claiming yes. And so I wouldn't be
His mind's telling him no,
surprised.
but his body.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are like going the legal route to be like, hey,
Mind if I take this Blackrock? Oh, sorry.
yeah, like, hey,
What's
I
up?
was like, hey, you can't run for president, and what are you doing? Because he's claiming he's running for president because Biden. He says Biden can't win the election and they need somebody else to do it.
So his plan is to run left of Brandon.
Yeah, and it's I think what's even sadder is that supposedly he's got over 1,000 people who donated to him, and I'm like, are you guys just dumb and don't realize he can't? Like,
I mean,
be
I would
president?
say it doesn't. To them, it probably doesn't matter, right? It's just like, oh, hey, I like internet person. I feel like it's gonna be really funny if he gets like milkshaked or something, you know? Like,
Oh, like what happened with Sargon?
yeah, cause like, yeah, like what's the line from Star Wars? I don't think this is gonna go the way you think it does. From those terrible Star Wars films.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's, I would, if I were advising him as a professional, I would say this is a terrible idea. Unless you're getting involved in some sort of money laundering or some shit around this. My professional advice as a financial professional is you should not launder money or do illegal things because they will come down on you and arrest you. But like, yeah, this is like, it's You know the old saying, interesting play, Cotton. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah.
And if, I mean, like, do I think this will shift any of the races in any way? Absolutely not. I don't think this makes any lick of difference about who will sit the Iron Throne at the end of all this. You know, it's like net effect on the races going on, less than 0. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and he's also apparently he's going to debate Vic Swami next week. On Monday, actually, he's going to debate Vic on Monday, so that's going to be.
Vivek
That's gonna be great.
Ramaswamy is debating him.
Yes.
Honestly, very disappointing.
I mean, what do you expect? You have Indian Jimmy Neutron versus the Buffalo.
Well, but like, I mean, like Vivek is legitimately trying to run for president. Like, I mean, like, I don't think he can win. I don't think he will win. Basic common sense, but like, you know, what? Okay, let's say for example, he runs, right? He runs as an independent. His claim, I'm running to the left of Brandon. Who would vote for him? Like, what's the Cenk Uygur? Like, let's say somehow he gets through all this and he's on the ballot in several states. Like,
Who's gonna vote for him?
yeah, like, no, wait, what do you think a Cenk Uygur voter looks like?
His nephew?
I mean, I don't even think Hassan would vote for him. Like, I think it'd be like, you know, an RFK announced, like, all of his siblings, like, denounced him. Like, what? Like, what's the Cenk Uygur voter is someone that's, like, young and lefty, right?
And who unironically watches the Young Turks.
Yeah. Like, what? Like, in what scenario does this turn out good for them? You know? Let's say, let's take an impossible scenario, Geeky. Let's say Cenk Uygur gets 1 million votes. Right? Let's just say the most insane situation plays out. And somehow, some way, Palpatine has Cenk Uygur gets 1,000 votes. Okay. What's the net effect of this on the presidential race? There's 1 million votes that were gonna go to Brandon that are now sitting in the Cenk Uygur camp. Like, is his plan that he wants Brandon to drop out of the race and anoint him as the successor to the Democrat Party? Like,
I think he wants to, because it's him and Marianne Williamson are the only ones running against Biden now that RFK is an independent.
but that's my point. Like, what? Like, think about everything you know about Joe Biden, right? Like, he's a stubborn old man that just wants to hold on to power so his kids and uncle and brothers and cousins can stay out of jail, right? Like, that's pretty much been the Biden presidency summed up. And like, so this young, let's be honest, okay? This young nobody, all right? Some Turkish kid says, you need to step aside. The party needs new blood, and it will be me. That's right. I will lead the party into a glorious future. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, Joe Biden is not going to go, you know, for the good of the party, I will step down. You know, the party's also not going to go,
I am the party when he
the party as well, Geeky, isn't going to go, yeah, you know what? Fuck Joe Biden, you know, our loyal soldier for how many years. Let's take this new guy that's super progressive and super unpopular in tons of segments of the population. Let's take this guy and run him for president. Like, does he think he's going to be Vladimir Zelensky? Like, that's right. I'm a media tycoon, Geeky. I'm a super big media tycoon, and I'm going to be president.
If anything, they're probably like shitting bricks, because they're like, great.
No, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think they're shitting bricks. I think this is just like, why is the buffalo over there throwing a tantrum? You know,
I think what'll be funnier is they're like, we found somebody less likable than Kamala.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. The Cenk Uygur run for president is not something I understand, I guess is what it comes down to. Like, to me...
It also wasn't on my bingo card.
No, that wasn't on my bingo card either. But, like, to me, it does not make sense. You know, it's just like, why? Like...
Yeah, because even his reasoning doesn't make any sense.
Because he's saying
either.
it's for the good of the party. Correct?
It's because he's saying... It's saying because... It's because Trump is too far ahead in the polls.
Oh.
And he has no ability to make that ground up, and especially on the economy.
That's so cute. He thinks
That is-
elections matter. Oh, sorry. I mean, what I meant to say was, I mean, he's high on his own farts, I guess, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because all the community notes with him running for president all go, Cenk Uygur is not eligible to run for president. Why are you donating to him?
I don't know how to put this to you, sir, but you legally can't be president. Like,
Yeah,
now, to be
According-
fair, we've had a president that had questionable means for whether or not he was legally allowed to run, that are backed up by his own writings and, you know, his siblings, you know. But putting that aside, you know, like,
I mean, smear campaign started by Hillary Clinton, by the way. Whoops.
it is
No.
true that was a smear campaign by the Clintons. The problem with that, though, is he really wrote it himself. Why? Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, you know, someone was writing a story about me, they didn't have all the facts. It's like, bro, it's your autobiography.
Well,
Like, you
dude,
wrote it
so
yourself.
according
What do
to-
you mean you didn't know what nation you were a citizen of? Come on.
Well, the crazy part is, I mean, also Ted Cruz was born in Canada and was running for president, and
Yeah,
everyone said he
you'd be
shouldn't.
like- And John McCain, perfect example of someone that shouldn't have been eligible to be president. Born in Panama. But yes, I know. Technically, the canal was a territory of the U.S. at the time, so technically, it is America. I know. And, you know, we should all say a nice... I'm not a religious person, but we can all say a nice prayer for John McCain's tumor. Long may he reign in the kingdom of heaven. But, yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah, that is true. You know, that, like, yeah, Ted Cruz is Canadian, but he's an American citizen. It's whatever. Yeah, I mean, the Middle East is a mess. News at 11, right?
Yeah, and according to Cenk, he says he could run because of a Supreme Court case saying that that the Fifth Amendment,
The Fifth Amendment? You mean the
yes,
13th Amendment?
no, the argument is the Fifth Amendment allows you the right to return and reside in your native countries and give you the same citizenship as a birthright citizenship, according to a Supreme Court case in 1964, which is the Snyder and Russ versus Roos. That is his argument. But the crazy part is, and then when Cenk is claiming that his parents were American citizens when he was born, so therefore that classifies him as a natural born citizen.
That's not true. He's just an American citizen.
Yeah, because isn't his parents also born in Turkey?
You're an American citizen if your parents are born in the country you reside in, you know, which is America.
Yeah. So that is his claim that he is eligible to run for president, and everyone's like, you are completely wrong. What are you doing? Like,
No, this may
Why?
come as a shock to everyone, but this is also not the first time he was completely wrong about things.
yeah, it's also not the first time he's ran for office.
Yes, and well, we know how that one went.
Fourth place in California lost to 2 Republicans.
Yeah, no, it was he had less than 5,000 votes. It was some
Uh,
tiny number, and they spent I think like $100,000 on that campaign. Some amount, some non-zero amount would be pretty
no,
embarrassing.
so the first run is he barely got under $10,000. And sorry, 10,000 votes.
And he spent, I believe, like spent a lot per vote. We'll say.
Yeah.
We'll be generous. He spent a lot per each vote. We had that guy in this cycle, Geeky, if you remember. Who literally paid people, right, to put him on the ballot. I was like, I'm a millionaire and I'll give you $10 to write my name in.
Was his name Mike Bloomberg?
No. Mike Bloomberg literally did that, but figuratively did that, but this guy literally did it. One second, I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be hilarious because I am actually well, we'll wait for Ghost to come back when I think about this, but uh, guys, we're it just made everything a lot more interesting.
All right, I have returned from taking a piss.
That was fast.
Yeah, I mean, I have a weird setup. Like, my office and my bedroom are attached to, like, the same bathroom. So it's like, walk over there, wash my hands. But yeah, can you explain to me what's the woke thing with Burger King? What was that all about?
I don't know. I have not heard anything with Burger King lately.
Yeah, I mean, someone joked, it's like, do you really need a reason to boycott Burger King? Besides their shitty food.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the rumor that the Grimace shake was supposed to be a fried shake, and then they rebranded it. I've heard that.
Really? I would not be shocked by this.
Yeah, because they saw the backlash of Bud Light. They're like, oh, forget it.
So you're saying...
Because
You know what I wanna
Grimace is
say?
52 years
Like,
old. That's what...
That actually sounds kind of cool. A rainbow shake. Like, you do it, like, in layers. Like, whatever. Attach whatever political whatever to it. But if you had, like, all the colors of the rainbow as, like, different flavors in one big shake, like, that, I'd drink that. Not because of, like, making a political statement, just because, like, that's, like, an interesting flavor. But I wonder if, like, they were like, let's just put it all together, make it purple, call it the Grimace Shake.
I think I'm seeing boycott Burger King and a bunch of other businesses because they supposedly support Israel. That's what I'm seeing.
Wait,
what I'm looking at.
I meant before this, because yeah, obviously, the issue of, oh gosh, yeah, this is so confusing. It's like, hooray, everyone's a fucking hypocrite. It's just like,
I mean, if they are protesting it, it's great because Nike's on the list, and I'm like, sweet, I can get some Jordans.
will boycott Burger King is the lady to put too much tomato on your Whopper? This guy, this Italian, obviously puts tomato on his burger. Disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, tomatoes are gross. Ketchup is gross too.
I thought there was some sort of like anti-woke boycott going on at Burger King recently.
I don't know, but they do have ghost pepper chicken fries, and that sounds like a nightmare to eat.
Chicken fry. Okay, I've tried the chicken fries before. Kind of mid. Like it sounds like a good idea. It's just executed poorly. It's like, oh, they're chicken tendies basically.
Oh, because Burger King pulled their ad from Rumble.
Oh, yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. That was in response to the,
Russell Brand stuff.
Yeah, I cannot... I mean, I was already boycotting them because their food is pretty mediocre. But, like, no, I don't support people trying to cancel people over unproven allegations. That's fucked.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Get fucked, Burger King.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat at a real burger place like In-N-Out.
Ugh. Don't eat their French fries.
Dude.
They're so terrible. Just utterly terrible. Why? How hard can it be to make French fries? It seems like one of the easiest things to do. You cut up potatoes, you put them in a deep fat fryer. Like, maybe you peel them, maybe you don't, depends. Like, how could you screw this up?
You know what I'm also surprised with?
That'd be like if a chick fucked up a blowjob. It's like, babe, way too much teeth. Like, come on. Like, this is not a hard concept.
Or if she pukes on it because she made herself gag from it.
Oh, God. Like, seriously. Like, how do you fuck that up? It's a very simple process, okay? It involves fluid, emotion, and and my penis. Like, how is this? How did you fuck this up?
I don't know, but
Yeah, that's In-N-Out French fries. It's somehow they screwed up a blowjob.
and I'll say Five Guys fries aren't that good either.
Five Guys fries. It's an interesting conundrum, Geeky, because they're not bad. You know, they're not bad, but you get like a bucket of them, and they're super fucking greasy, like
And salty.
salty. Like they're like the pizza of French fries. There's a lot of it, and I don't know. I think it's fine. I like them. I don't think they're great. They're good. They're not great. But I could understand why people wouldn't like them.
Yeah.
They pulled their ads from Rumble. I'm shocked they were even advertising on Rumble. However, there's an interesting thing that happened recently in like the whole Rumble saga, Geeky. Did you hear about the Canadian podcasting law that was passed recently?
No.
So, Canada is requiring media providers of a certain size to document and catalog their podcasters and report them for conspicuous violations. Fun fact, do you know where Rumble is headquartered?
The UK?
Canada.
Oh.
Rumble is headquartered in Canada. And Canada responded to everything going on by passing a law that says you have to 1984 your fucking content creators on your platform.
So basically they're going to throw Lauren Southern back to jail.
Perhaps they might. But the timing is very curious, right? You know, right when Rumble took a stand against, you know, the cancel culture and all that, and it's like, well, what was the response? Well, we'll pass a fucking law that says you have to document and report any unhealthy podcasters, right? Fascinating, yeah. Right? Yeah, no, it's a curious turn of events, I'll say to the least. But yeah, anything else? Any other stories come up that caught your eye, Geeky? Any other games coming out?
We're getting a new Dragon Ball anime next year.
I did see that Dragon Ball Daima, right, where they all get turned into kids.
Yes, and I saw the picture. Even Master Roshi turns back into a kid, and he looks great.
Well, that is funny. So, what do we know about Dragon Ball Daima?
Toriyama is heavily involved. Like, he's in charge of scripts. He's in charge of storyboards. Like, he's more hands on this than he was with Super.
Well, but he left like his protege in charge of Super, right?
Yeah, this one Toriyama's like, I saw what you guys did to Super. No, I'm doing this.
Fuck it, we'll do it live, he said, right?
Basically, and from what I've heard the rumors of, there's already 10 episodes like almost done with production, and they're treating this really, really carefully because they don't want to have another super debacle where like some stuff was animated poorly.
What do you mean, Geeky? I don't know what you mean, some stuff animated poorly. Trusting Toriyama is wrong. I kind of agree with you on that, Tony. I think Toriyama, yo, that was going on about the boomer truth regime. We may have the boomer Toriyama regime. We all have such fond memories of Dragon Ball Z that we can't escape the Dragon Ball Z paradigm of what has been Dragon Ball since. Dragon Ball GT, as a bunch of okay to decent games. What do you even know? Do you even remember the other thing Toriyama made with like the sand robots and shit? What was that?
Saruman, and then he also did Dr. Slump.
Dr. Slump I thought preceded Dragon Ball Z, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, Dr. Slump is first.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. We may be overrating him. I'm just saying.
Is it like how people are overrating Full Metal Alchemist?
Yes, which is an absolute fact. If only I had facts and logic to backs me up on this.
I mean, I will say Attack on Titan's overrated.
Yeah, I haven't seen the final episodes. I'll judge it after that. So far, it's all right. It's definitely the ending. Where the ending's going so far, I haven't really. I'll say this: I didn't expect it.
Okay.
But I have to see how it ends before I make a final judgment call.
Yeah. I mean, I think what also people forget is that Toriyama, like, he draws everything for Dragon Quest, he drew everything for Chrono Trigger.
He draws the same 5 characters every time. I know.
Yeah, he also did Blue Dragon.
Blue Dragon. God, what was Blue Dragon?
It was another RPG developed by Square that he did the artwork for.
I don't remember. But maybe it was good.
It was a 360 exclusive, that's why.
History is littered with 360 exclusives no one remembers, Geeky. It's so true, right? It's just like, yes, that game. Which one? The 360 exclusive. You need say no more. I know what you mean. No one remembers this game. Yeah.
That.
So, as a Hispanic, obviously you are very excited for Dragon Ball Daima, right?
Yes, and I saw the trailer for it, and it actually got me excited. I'm actually more excited for this than I was for Super.
Geeky's in like full whoa. Geeky, are you so back?
What do you mean by so back? Oh, Dragon Ball's back.
Are we indeed so back, Geeky? Have we achieved levels of so back that shouldn't be possible?
Hey, I mean, have you noticed, like, when Dragon Ball is not on the air, the Latin America's all down in flames? So this actually might stop this Venezuelan crisis.
The Venezuelan government sent a public thank you to Akira Toriyama for creating new Dragon Ball in order to quell the violence in South America.
I mean, I know Mexico will. I mean, we had our Dragon Ball watch party.
Bro, I'm not even joking. I participated in many a Dragon Ball watch party with my Hispanic friends. During Super. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, it's like, Super just came out. Let's go watch it, bros. Let's get some tacos and watch Dragon Ball Super. Like, it's like not even joking. Like, seriously, just like, yo, essay, let's go watch Dragon Ball Super. Like,
We picking up
It's-
some Modelos and some tacos, fool.
They did. They quite often drank Modelo's. Although my Mexican friend at the time, he did not drink before that. He got older, and his girlfriend put on some pounds, and now he drinks. But no, she's fine. Hopefully they'll be happily married soon. But we'll see.
Nah, don't have a kid out of wedlock.
You know, normally I would agree with you, but we'll see how it pans out. But yeah, no, it's funny when I first met him, like, no, I'm good, clean, I don't do drugs, I don't do alcohol, and it's like several years later, it's just like, what happened to that? What happened to that guy I knew? What happened, bro? He just, he got old.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Daima, we've got to look forward to.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Even Hercule turns into a kid, so
Now you listen here. Why are all these people talking about tomboys with my daughter? What's going on here? What's going on? What are you all talking about? Bro, you're 7 now. Shut up.
yeah, and I think it's gonna be great. I honestly think it'll be a fun time.
Really? You think it's going to be great?
Yeah, I mean the animation looks solid and fluid, and
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I don't get me wrong. Like, this is Dragon Ball, okay? This is the Cadillac of animation. They're gonna fucking... They're gonna go all out on this, but... You think this will affect the timeline for Super?
it's for sure after the
Permanent Power?
no, at least after the tournament against Universe 6, because Kibito is also shut up. So we don't know, but we don't know where until because it doesn't show as many hints where exactly.
See.
So that's it. Also, apparently, this story has been going on during the show. Ghost, you know who SS Sniper Wolf is?
SS Sniper Wolf. I'm not aware of this. Who is this?
Okay, SS Sniper Wolf is some e-girl streamer.
Oh, and also Tony, he was cheating on his taxes based. Okay, so the e-girl, what does she play?
Let me take a look. I know she does cosplays.
How big are her tits?
I think actually she's from Kaz's country.
British. That's disappointing. You had me for a second, you lost me.
Let me see. I know she has a... Okay, she's Turkish as well, so she's Turkish and British.
I'm gonna need your opinion between A and B on something geeky.
Let's see. Biography, blah, blah, blah. Let me look this up. Yeah, so she was born in Liverpool, lives in the U.S. Okay. Is it coat or no coat?
Yeah.
I would say no coat because your coat looks like seaweed.
Well, it's not done, obviously.
Okay. Okay, so she lives in the U.S., makes, what does she play? Okay, so she got famous for live streams and cosplays.
As you do.
I'm assuming she plays Call of Duty.
All of booty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So a typical basic e-girl.
yeah. Well, apparently, her and her ex-boyfriend broke up,
Oh,
and
who died?
her ex-boyfriend was streaming on Twitch, and then apparently saw Sniper Wolf's uh,
OnlyFans.
Instagram, and apparently Sniper went over to her house and basically doxed her through Instagram Live.
Jeez.
And now she is claiming that it is defamation, and also posted a picture of his house like on Instagram.
Everyone's just shitty people here.
Yeah, this literally just happened like 3 hours ago. And
Hours
she
ago.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so two terrible people are in a war over who can be the most petty.
Yeah, so now everyone's calling for her to be like demonetized on YouTube and blah blah blah.
It's the typical shit flinging combined with the relationship angle.
Yeah, but people are also saying, like YouTube doesn't really go after e-girls.
I mean, they kicked off Velvet, and they kicked off, various like e-thoughts.
They kicked off who?
Remember Velvet, the Vietnamese chick with massive milkers? She used to be
No,
on
I do
YouTube.
not remember.
Okay, she was on D Live. She's in all the stickers. The girl who would do all the Korean dances with her tits out. Come on, D Live.
Okay, I remember. I have to see a picture, like just a.
Tony, post it in the D Live chat. One of the gifts, one of her stickers.
As I'll relog in back.
Kind
to
of got
D-Live.
like a little bit of a mid face, but she's got like double D's probably. She's got some great assets on her. You don't think you have one? Disappoint me, Tony. You failed me. No, Chubbly wouldn't have let me down. But regardless, they kicked her. Actually, wait. Let's see. Let me think what I can. Go to that website while we're streaming. That would be ill-advised, but.
A lot of just show up on stream.
Hey. I'll be right back because Tony failed. It's not a great photo. Chubbly's got it though. Chubbly's got the gifs on D Live. Chubbly has me covered. But yeah, that's Velvet. She got kicked off YouTube and Twitch for crimes of thoughterry, I suppose. Chubbly. Chubbly's a bro.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I see this. Okay.
They do take actions against evils, for some reason.
But Sniper Wolf has like 5 million.
Remember the 5 million followers. I'm getting. Really? 5 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so we're not talking about like some no name anything like.
Not some nobody, but an actual human being.
Yeah.
So there are people calling for her to be removed because she doxed her boyfriend. Oh, no problem, Chubbly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she doxed her ex. Thank you,
She
Charlie.
doxed her ex after her ex doxed her. Like,
No, her ex did not dox her. They just broke up. Her ex was just live streaming random stuff.
Oh, okay. So sorry, the way you said it, I thought her ex had like doxed her.
No.
Okay. So wait, what? Why did she do what she did?
Cause she like just randomly posted, "Oh, who wants me to go visit my ex's house?" Cause, I'm near.
What's
I'm
wrong with these
near.
kids?
I'm nearby.
Bro, probably like, I'm getting laid. No.
Yeah, and then now she's claiming that she's been doxxed.
Get out of here, you doxer. Yeah. They're all just terrible people.
Yeah, it's just like now everyone's got like drama for like 3 months now. Like, oh no. Also, apparently the SAG strike got canceled. Like, is back on.
Wait, the what is?
The writer strike is back on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they
what
walked
happened?
away from negotiations.
They got what they wanted, didn't they?
SAG said no, we're gonna start picketing again.
Oh, thank goodness! You're telling me late night comedy isn't going to continue again? Oh, God!
Yeah.
You know, the nice part about it was there was so much cringe. There was so much cringe that could be mined from late night comedy, but I think the net positive of having no Colbert or Fallon or Kimmel is worth it, right?
Yeah, so apparently like they couldn't agree on the deal again. And then so now they're gonna start picketing again because like they didn't get what they wanted for negotiations.
Okay, very interesting. Do we have any Gunpla people? I like Gunpla. Geeky, are you familiar with Gunpla?
I suck at building stuff like that, so
Chubbly has something for Gunpla people. I'm curious what that is.
it's a Gundam.
He is an entertaining YouTuber.
Yeah, he's very great at Gundam. But yeah, that's what's going on. Also, the new Mario voice actor has been announced as well, which is...
Could you imagine if it was, "It's a me, a Star-Lord again"? Could you imagine?
No, but people are mad at the Princess Peach game. They're making her more look like the video game. Like the movie, my mistake. Yeah, and then some people are apparently really mad because such a dumb thing, but apparently the voice actor Mario has their pronouns on their bio.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I would say this, Geeky. Don't judge them too harshly because, I mean, they're in Hollywood, right? Like, they know where they are. They know the rules. You know, it's not like they're some, like, you know, cool based place with like people that have guns and shit. They're in Hollywood. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, that's maybe Mario isn't something that can be too easily politicized anyway, right? Because like, yahoo, yippee, it's a me, you know, more so than
Yeah, he runs like he sprints like a black guy, he jumps like a Mexican, he's Italian, and he collects coins like a Jew, so it's like...
I suppose. I think you might be overreacting just a bit. I think...
I'm not, I just find that that's what I'm seeing, like...
That's the react... I mean, like... I'm trying to think of all the political treatises from Super Mario that I can recall.
Yeah. Yeah,
Listen
that is
here,
just funny.
Akupa! It's over!
Yeah. Also, it's so funny too that people are mad at Ethan Klein for supporting Israel, and I'm like, he's Jewish and his wife's from Israel. Like
yeah, like
why?
Why is this shocking
Like,
information
why
to
is-
anyone?
Yeah. Oh, have you heard about this Pokemon Van Gogh Museum controversy too?
Pokemon Van Gogh.
Yes.
Oh, Wizards got rid of half races in D&D. Really? I mean, I'm not shocked by this information. I'm not shocked. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, but the crazy part is that so the Van Gogh Museum is working with Pokemon, so like Van Gogh art style cards and stuff like that, paintings, all that good stuff. So, like 2 weeks ago, the Van Gogh Museum decides to, if you go to the Van Gogh Museum, you get a Pokemon card. It's Pikachu with a Van Gogh looking hat. I will actually post a picture of it in general. Well, what happened was, is because trading card games are so collectible and the Pokemon
Someone
market
bought
is
all of them
so.
already.
No, they were free when you were to go into the museum. Pictures in general. People were like basically trying to get more than one copy. It was supposed to be one per person per visit, and they sold out in like 2 hours. But now they try to re-release it again, and instead of being like civilized adults and just go in, grab your card, go see the museum, whatever, people were like shoving people, trying to like steal the cards, then try to.
Oh my gosh. It was a shit show is what you're saying.
Yes. And now they are no longer, like, the partnership has ended because of it.
Now no one gets any.
Basically.
This is the way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now
And
no
every,
one
like,
gets
different-
Pokemon cards because you guys couldn't fucking be civilized about it.
Yeah, it's like, it's just Pikachu with the hat.
Hit with a magic
And
hat.
now they're reselling the card for like $120 and $100 already.
Oh my gosh. Magic Gathering are getting rid of witches because it pertains to real life religions. You love how they're gonna wash over angels and demons. Yeah, that's true. Celestials and other shit, right?
I mean, aren't they also getting rid of orcs?
Yeah, because it's I guess it's orcs are some sort of weird racist depiction of like, it is hilarious because like the most racist thing I've ever heard of. It's like, well, black people are orcs. Excuse me? What the fuck do you mean by that, bro? you want to explain what you mean by that? Because maybe I didn't hear them correctly, you know? Yeah, no,
that's always been my. Well, then they're trying to say like goblins were Jewish people.
Well,
And
yes, there are a lot. I mean, yeah, there's a long history of, you know, things said about the goblins, the goblin problem, you know, goblin question. You know, there's all the kinds of things about goblins, you know. It's, you could probably misconstrue in various horrible ways. But yeah. Yeah, so it's just like, we don't want our game to be offensive, so let's not make orcs black people. It's like, what? Who the hell said orcs were black people? Like, you know, it's just like, what?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That one I've never really understood. But apparently, that's just the way it is. Apparently, I guess I was just not woke enough to see the truth, you know, that these are obvious depictions of it. You know, like the woke writers, or, you know, like D&D, you know, like they had more gamer writers before. But, you know, realistically, come on. Like these were nerds, okay? These were like 90s nerds. These are not like, oh guys, we're based. No, they were nerds and gamers. You know, they were probably generally pretty lefty, and even back then, you know, and it's like, are you guys honestly shocked by this information? But yeah, no, it's dumb. Wizards of the Coast is being afraid of the people they pandered to. Well, that is absolutely true.
Yeah, except they couldn't like kick out all the pedophiles.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, you know, like it's a children's card game, you know, it's just, it comes with the territory. That and smell.
Yeah.
Karn and me are shocked. Yes, indeed, Tony. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's dumb. But apparently, so who is the new Mario voice actor? What's his name?
Kevin Afghani. I'm not even joking. That's his name.
Is he Italian at least? Yu-Gi-Oh has the smell problem.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Konami will, if you smell really bad, and you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh event, the event organizers can kick you out.
Equivocally based.
Yeah, that's an actual rule.
Severely, unequivocally based. Good for Konami making a rule to address it. It's definitely not a thing they should have had to address, but, you know. It is what it is, right, Geeky?
Yeah.
You
It's
call a
great, 'cause
judge
it's
over for
like-
a sniff DQ?
I mean, I could already call him for slow playing.
Sir, Mr. Judge, could you smell this guy over here? I don't like it. I'm gonna need a sniff check on this guy. I don't think he checks out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the smell of this guy.
It's like,
fucking
Judge, they smell bad. Also, they're slow played. So that's 2 reasons to DQ them.
Geeky talking about the real issues. Bro, they're slow playing. If you played, that's how you would start every match. Smell check. Win by technical smell out.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's gonna be great because actually I get to go play. Actually, I'm gonna go play my local tomorrow because the new set comes out. So I'm gonna see.
What's
if I
the
can
new
get some...
Yu-Gi-Oh set? I have not played.
It is called Age of Overlords.
There have been like 4 or 5 other age sets for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Let me check actually. Age TCG. Alright, let's see. First. Alright, we got a lot of dimension of stuff. Hold on, first set, last set. Yeah, I don't think have we had any other age ones? Why? Great. Let's see. See, I know we have a lot of legacy ones.
Legacy games.
No, like legacy is a name they like to use a lot.
What does it mean, legacy game? Like, you can play with all sets, or?
Well, you can play with the whole set. Yeah, that's always going to be in the TCG, but in Yu-Gi-Oh, but like they always like a lot of their set names is always like, oh, legacy of this or legend of this. I'm trying to remember when there's like an age one.
Age of Ultron.
Heard that movie's not as good as everyone says it is.
Yeah, most people consider it quite a disappointment. Usually the red-headed stepchild of the Avengers saga.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can put this Coast to Ghost in the books, Geeky. Will you be streaming anytime soon?
I should be. I can't guarantee because my internet's been terrible lately, and I don't want to stream with bad internet.
Well, good for you. Someone has to. Someone has to not stream with bad internet. Um, but yeah, no, good show in the books. We had some heated, lively discussion about the oh gosh, the
Yeah,
mess,
and
right?
it's kind of annoying, like the way I don't want to get into it because then I
Yeah,
just feel like
it's so annoying because it's just like I hate these people. It's like, yeah, well, it's like, sir, this is a Wendy's, okay? Like, what? They're like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Can we talk about the facts? It's like, can we just talk about what happened, what's happening, how we can avoid escalation? You know, like how, hey, you know, yeah, they faked that image, yes, but like the other people did die and shit happened, okay? Like, let's just let's look at everything with a clear head and make adult decisions so we don't redo the mistakes of, like, you know, 9/11 or the Syrian and Libyan intervention. Like, we can talk about all these things without, X is in charge, is causing this or why. It's just like, guys, everyone chill the fuck out, okay? I'm
yeah,
on YouTube, damn it.
yeah. Oh, it's this group's fault. No, it's that group's fault. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa,
exactly.
whoa.
It's a situation where it's like, these people are in the wrong, and these people are in the wrong, and we're in the wrong for fucking for everything we're doing. Like, everyone is in the wrong here. You know, there's no like, oh hi, we're the fucking perfectly moral heroes of this. No one is. Okay, like, everyone's fucking shitty in this. Yeah, like, you know, the only people who are innocent in this are the fucking civilians. You know, the people that are just getting killed and shit. Like, those are the people that are in the right. Like, yeah, no, it's shit. And it's like, oh, here's a picture of a burned baby. I don't care. Okay? Real or not, I don't care. Solve your own shit. This is your neighbor, okay? Figure it out. I feel like we're the adult in the fucking room, you know? It's like, figure your shit out. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm not going to war over this, okay? This is not an attack on America, you fucking dumbasses, okay? No, it's not. All right? It is an attack on Israel, okay? It's not an attack on America. We are not synonymous, all right? We are not the same country. If Israel wants to be the 51st state, they can give up their religious government, become a secular country, and they get annexed by us. Until then, guess what? Solve your own fucking shit. How about that, right?
yeah, but also I really don't want to like own Israel, to be honest.
No, I'm not saying we should, but I'm saying if that were the case, it'd be like, well, it's an American state now, okay? Those are Americans. You know, it's like we annexed Canada and someone started invading them. I'm like, well, I don't really care about Canada, but that's the Canadian States of America. Fuck it. You know? Yeah. It's dumb. My favorite part has just been the, like, you know, oh, Ukraine war. Whatever, who cares? Ooh, Middle East war. You know, it's like the guy looking at the chick, you know, and his girlfriend looking at him like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
have that, and then we also got
Azerbaijan about to invade Armenia. Look, what I'll say is, let's hope for peace, prepare for war, fill your gas tank, stay aware, stockpile ammo, because if there's anything that goes wrong, you're not going to want to wait for the cops to count you among the dead, okay?
and also don't get any surgeries in case there's a draft. Like, so like if you got bad knees, like if you know an ACL is about to tear, have that thing tear during like boot camp, or be like, hey, they scanned my knee, they look like my ACL is about to tear. That's how you get off the draft.
Yeah, I agree with this. You know, don't get drafted. Someone told you to buy extra ammo a month until that new tax BS passes. Yeah. Stock up, Tony. Stock up.
Yeah, stock
Stay
up on
strapped
that.
or get clapped.
Yeah, move out of the cities. If you
Learn who your neighbors are. Figure out who you can and can't trust. They're all very simple things that you can do to prepare yourself.
Yeah, or
the
worst
shit
case
snow.
scenario. Worst case scenario is drop psychedelics, and hopefully that's enough for you not to get drafted.
Do not
It's,
do
oh, whoops! I might get a
drugs. Do not do
I might get a
drugs.
psychedelic flashback.
Yes, Tony, stock up on all your slice of life anime so that you have something to watch in the inevitable coming nuclear holocaust. All right, Geeky, have a wonderful night. It's Coast to Ghost 117 in the books. I'll be back in probably 15 minutes after I eat for the post stream. Have a great night.
There you go. Have a good night. Go watch also season 2 of Spy X Family's out, and
I did
and
see
it's
that.
been great.
I'm watching that in Goblin Slayer season 2. I'll see you all on the
Yep.
flip side in like 10 or